Fred, I like your addition to that song. Welcome to the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast. Tonight, we are joined by Conrad from the OK Taco show / food
place. Food company place.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Start the fucking thing, Alan.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Welcome to the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'll make it pop.
With your host, Parker.
Jesus.
Featuring the sultry sounds of Fred and also Alan on the board.
Let's go already!
And now, let's start the damn show.
Welcome, one and all, to the 112th edition of the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast. Thank you, Alan. Your home for local late-breaking Roman Empire news. We're so glad you joined us, and we appreciate your support so very much. You can keep up with us at blcpodcast.com, and please drop us a like or a follow on X, Facebook, Instagram, and our TikTok. X. Please, it's true. Please rate us on your favorite podcast platform and tell all your friends. We also have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/blcworld. Thank you, my dear wife, who decided to become a patron for some reason. And we are, of course, broadcast on the Pop Culture Pros Network. Check them out at popculturepros.com. And now, let's get an actual round of applause for biggest dickus himself. It's Fred.
I thought you
guys play the round of applause? Yeah, Fred!
See? Somebody loves you.
There you go, Fred.
I'll tell you why. Because the guy that I'm about to introduce
Watch
is
this.
a third burglar. And he only gives it to himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan OTV.
Oh, yeah.
And he gives himself like a serious one. He controls our applause sign.
He deserves it. The man had a heart attack recently.
That's true. So we would, of course, also like to welcome our old friend, the master of tacos of all colors and sizes. It's Conrad from the OK Taco Podcast and Restaurant. Which one do you prefer first?
Conrad's fine.
podcast?
Yeah. No, OK Taco Show, I think, is what, ultimately it gets down to. Eventually, that's the easiest way to say it. So just the OK Taco Show. When you come to the restaurant, it's a show. You don't know what show you're going to get. It changes. I have a bunch of helpers that are from the neighborhood that have various special abilities, and they oftentimes bring me mysteries each day, and I like to share those to the unknowing customers of the area as they walk in, and it's typically a surprise to most of these people, and I prefer it that way. I prefer to surprise them. So I don't know. The show is just, that's what it is. The whole thing's a show. So, OK Taco Show.
So the restaurant, you go to the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a show.
Well, I mean, everything's a show, though, Freddie. You know
life
that.
Life is but a stage,
right.
and we are all book players, Fred.
Here's the problem.
It's cool though.
Well, it's hard. The hard part of it has been, you are trying to service blue collar patrons. You're trying to service the people that are getting a quick meal on the go, but you don't want to stage your show like the typical McDonald's fast food place.
Right.
So you have to find your way in between, and it is a mind warp to the people that come in, because you're expecting one thing based on what they've seen, based on the food. You get a totally different culture thing when you walk in. And then you mix in a new world of podcasting or just expression, really in a different way. That the area, it's just not as prevalent in this area to do any of the things that I do.
So I'm trying to get a visual though. Okay, You open from like is it like a lunch service or the
No,
dinner
it's
service?
11 to 8. Yeah, that's why I just walked in. I cleaned
So
up.
you
and-
podcast for 8 hours? Like
no. The show's
Okay.
not on.
It's like,
It's
that's
not
awesome.
recorded in the whole time. We've done it, when Shannon and I were doing the food truck and we were pulling this trailer that I'm sitting in, when we're pulling it around serving tacos, then we would record on the way to a location while we were there on the way home. So it was
Yeah.
whole could have customers doing it. Since we've been here, figuring out how to incorporate one with the other has been more difficult a little bit than even the riding around, because people could understand, like, you're not from the area, you drove here, you had to do something, so you
Right.
recorded. That makes sense. But when you're like, oh no, what we do here, we make you tacos or draw you pictures or come out and do a podcast or
Yeah.
teaches music, and they're like, okay, and everybody's like, I guess I'll just have one taco then. It's like, it doesn't make sense. If you go to McDonald's and somebody's like, doing taxes and there's a disco room, and it's like, what the hell did I just walk
what's
into?
going on? Yeah.
And
yeah.
like I said, my friends from the area,
The fun McDonald's.
they dress up. I got a buddy that dress up in all kinds of costumes. He's just a kid from around here. And so like, it's just a wild thing. If you walk in and there's a man dressed like a cat or a bunny or a fox, and he's just like yelling at you, and you thinking, and I don't stop it. What can I do? I mean,
Right.
in fact, I encourage. I bought the costume. I
Right.
think it's hilarious. But
Yeah.
it's a lot, and it was a lot to try to stay within. It just was tough to stay. It's tough to keep resisting the urge to chase what would probably be easier money, maybe like knowing some ideas that would be great business wise, but not bring the kind of people
Element. Yeah.
I'm trying to build the Cheers atmosphere for tacos and family, and that's really it, like where everybody kind of knows each other, and then so it's just tough until people know you're building a different kind of customer base. So
Right. Yeah.
It is a lot.
People don't like change.
Yeah, they don't, and it's it's just they don't remember a lot. People don't really pay attention. People are stuck in their world, which is understandable. But
It's hard to make them put the phones down. You know what I'm
you get
saying?
in the habit. It's just,
you know what I mean?
And I talk about it with, like, I was talking with my wife about
Talk
it.
about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
There you go.
With my wife tonight, I was like, it's just her and I, when we would go out on dates long before we had kids, so 11, 12 years ago, when we would date each other and actually liked each other and stuff,
right?
We would go to the same restaurant. We would go to Carrabba's or whatever. I mean, we weren't rich, but we bragged a lot. We would go to like a Carrabba's and stuff, and then, but we would go maybe every 6 months, and we thought like we're great patrons to this place,
right? Yeah.
When you're on the other end of it, you're like, somebody hasn't been there for 2 weeks, and you're like, this person freaking hates me. I mean, I ruined their burrito, and I think they want to, I think they're gonna probably shut us down. I bet they're gonna shut me down. Every customer becomes this little world, and it's just tough. So, anyways, that's taco business. It's a taco show. That's it. And I have other things. We don't talk about tacos. That can be boring. I get it. Other stuff. It's fine.
Fred,
for tacos.
I say Fred and Alan will tell you that I could sit and talk about tacos all night long.
Well, yeah,
no problems on my end.
It's all I eat. Like someday, how stuff will happen sometimes where you go through, you're doing one thing, not noticing the consequences of that thing as you're doing it, and the consequences are actually better than the thing you were trying to do, if that makes any sense. So like, I'm trying to make a living and build a thing here, but the consequence is I might break a world record for eating the most amount of tacos ever. I mean, it's incredible the amount of, that's all I eat. I mean, the body only needs ground beef, and it's a pathetic existence, and you feel awful, and it's not great, but
it sounds better than it is, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's a purgatory.
It seems like you're like, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like almost every day I see a new special, or every other day I see a new special, and I'm like, is that when you're like, because I as someone who's used to manage restaurants and work in restaurants, some days you're just like, I don't know what I'm gonna eat, so you make something up, and you're like, well, we're selling it today.
Well, the fun part, okay, well, there's no there's no charade. I'm not trying to put a veil over anything that we're doing, but oftentimes I think people have been tricked so much by restaurants and their marketing and all their different things that a new item they'll get sold on. You know what I mean? Like if somebody comes out with a new item, somebody might be like, hey, just stacking an egg on top of a waffle isn't any different than having a plate with an egg and a waffle. And somebody's like, have you had a waffle slammer yet? And it's like, I mean, I've had eggs and waffles. Are you talking about when you put them together, you know? And so I have 3 ingredients on, that's all I know how to cook. It's all I know how to do. I didn't know how to run any restaurant at all. And so I just figure out different ways to put them together, and you can just add a fourth. It's like a song, you know, you add a fourth of anything and it doesn't matter. And you put a creative name or something stupid and try to relate it back. And it's just a joke. And the part that sucks is when somebody actually sees your joke and comes in and orders it, you know, because I'll put like a John Goodman, which is oftentimes it is just something that I, you know, had in the
John Goodman
fridge, you know, it's like I put a piece of bacon on here and, you know, I didn't have any extras, but it's more of it's also a Facebook post. It's, which you probably know, Matt, you try to find these little tent poles of bits that you can come back to at any time that people know you for. And even if they're not really, it just gives you one more thing that it's not an unexpected post. If you post that you had a John Goodman
it's a
burrito,
soft touch.
it's just you're not telling them come get this. It doesn't matter. It's a joke. They get it, but it reminds them. It's all that stuff.
The problem is I would be there quite often. Like, let me get that.
Well, yeah, dude, I got. Don't worry. There are Oklahoma Matts and Oklahoma Freddies and Oklahoma Allens even. You probably all would be like the same. There is a dude that does look just like Alan that lives right across from where I'm parked right here. And he drives a red PT Cruiser by Chrysler. Have you heard of that?
Oh my God.
It could be Alan.
Alan,
Are those
do you
things
like
still
PT
around?
Cruisers? You like it?
I do drive a red car, but
Oh, dude, it's bright red, and he is a nice guy. He works at car lot too. So to choose a PT Cruiser when you're amongst cars, that's a bold choice. And
that's a man with taste and conviction.
Yeah, he'll come by. He's a good guy. He comes by, and it's just so funny because sometimes it's like I remember these people, and they will not have any. Like they'll be like, "This is the first time I've been here," and I'm like, "This is not the first time you've been here, sir." I mean, I've definitely served
I know you. I've seen you.
You were wearing that shirt, you know. I'm pretty sure we had the same conversation, you know, and.
What's that chicken man doing running around here?
It gets so it was such a different human study when Shannon and I set out on our adventure of driving around, because that was like, it really blew my mind how close all these towns were, but as we were driving to them, how it didn't. You might as well have been talking about a different state. You might as well have been saying that you came from a different state, and you'd be like, I'm coming from 8 miles from here. I mean, it's not far. Sometimes it'd be 45 minutes, but still you'd be like, you've never been, west 45 minutes. That seems odd. They're like, oh no, we travel when we go on vacation. And it's so true. It's everyone. Everyone does this, and it's natural, but you get on the main corridors, you go to your main places, and then you go to vacations at the main vacation places.
We're creatures.
Yeah, we get in these habits, but we broke it based on a, drunken business model, and really just like drove through the matrix to see all these little interconnections of people's towns that are in the same area, but might as well be different worlds. I mean, it was crazy. And the way that local municipalities had different enforcement laws, and you're talking, and all of them are based on a big city law that has nothing to do with a town that has 73 people in it. And you're like, oh, if I was to buy a 2-day event pass, I was like, when's the last time you guys had a 2-day event pass?
Willie Nelson came back here in 1972.
It is, it's interesting to compare that kind of thing to then sitting behind the counter and just seeing how people treat staff, how people treat all kinds of different things, and it's just interesting. And so it makes it stressful. It's all kinds of things. It's all those emotions, and so then you just got to navigate your way through them and get to the point where you sit alone in a classic Airstream talking about the problems of the world to nobody. So, I mean, everything.
But it's also an arcade.
Right, it's an arcade. Yeah,
It's also an arcade. Yeah, come
Yeah,
on.
it is an arcade too. That's
Don't
true.
disrespect the
Yeah,
Airstream.
that's true. Thank you. It's an aircade. That's also an insurance
Oh, there you go. That's
trick.
right.
They asked me if I had arcade. No, I have an aircade. You didn't ask me
They're
that.
like, well, okay, fair enough. Like, we don't
Yeah.
give a shit.
But you're
That's
gonna ruin
awesome,
it for
man.
everyone else who does it.
That's
Yeah.
right. I think it's super cool. Like, if we could turn this podcast into a taco stand of some sort, I would be 100% for it. Alan would too, but he would never show up, and Fred would also be for it and never show up.
I'll just come to eat.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll just see.
Get some tacos for the kids.
It's fun. It's in a fun
Expect a
place
discount.
now. Everything's in a good place as far as everything feels great, except for we don't make no money. You know what I mean? Like that.
Right.
But I feel more comfortable about a lot of the things going on, and when I got my kids, like that was a big deal. I had to figure out a way to be around. I spent 10 years running, basically just running towards the podcast, but whatever I could do to make money while doing it, grabbing everything. And at some point, it's like, no, we're gonna stop running, and you two are gonna come right here, and you're gonna, to my wife, you're gonna help me with this. This is the whole thing that we're doing together, and so that was a shock to everyone, but that was what had to happen, and so it's different. So you get to homeschool, all that stuff. So it's like, and that's kind of the way I've always done things. I take all these ideas, I sit there, and I go, I'm thinking about doing this, this, and this, and most people have that. And then all of a sudden I do all three of them all at the same time. And everybody's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And it's like, I told you I was going to do these things. And they're like, why did you pick right now? And why did you pick all of them? And it's like, I don't know. It's like pulling the Band-Aid off or something. So anyways, it's that's everything. Now you're caught up. And now I feel like I've talked too much. So
no.
Man, this is great, man. So I mean, I can give you I can shout out for like doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Like even attempting. Most people won't even try to attempt it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I that all doesn't sink in at all. You just wake up in fear. You just spit, and it's really no different than what I felt working at a job where I had the boss. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That same feeling. If you have a family, or if you have and still have a goal or an ambition or something, and trying to balance those, and who's going to suffer or sacrifice because of it, and there's always a give and take. And so you just wake up with fear every day. So it's not, I would like to say thanks, and it took some sort of courage, but it's more, you're just hoping that this big shield holds up, this big fear shield. So, and you're hoping that some sort of miracle pops in, like some Julie Andrews lady comes in, she's like, I'll work for free and make you the best food in the world. It's like, really? It's like, you're why? It's like, because I'm old, and I don't want to do something.
And I'll watch your kids and teach them everything.
I'll watch your kids, and you can leave and go to Carrabba's. It's like, oh my God, you old lady, thank you.
All my dreams are coming true.
Jesus, old lady.
So, finally get fried ravioli again.
Oh man. Yeah, Carrabba's is pretty good. It's a legitimate. I mean,
how close is the nearest Carrabba's to you now,
buddy? That's a Google search that might be disheartening. I don't even want to. That's
I didn't mean to bring it up.
We do have Carrabba's. Yeah, we do have one Carrabba's.
We have 8 Carrabba's.
Oh man,
one Carrabba's.
Yeah, I don't know. The nearest one in Wichita was like a 45. It was the perfect amount to get that romance kind of building up. When
you get it working.
Yeah, you could kind of be like, you could always get somebody craving a little bit of spaghetti,
Yeah.
Because they got that olive oil, and then you start doing that, and by the time you get to Carrabba's, she's just putty in your hands, man, and you keep it out of. You start talking about her birthday, and if you want to get really lucky, start talking about her mom's birthday, and
she's gold, dude.
I was thinking about doing this for your mom's birthday, and she's like, "Oh my God, you were?" Yeah.
You remember my mom's birthday?
I certainly do. Yeah.
Well, just so you know, the Carrabba's in Wichita is open till 10.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if you can make
if you guys ever make it to Wichita, I would take you to a Carrabba's. That would be
there you go.
That's the most authentic restaurant that there is in Wichita, Kansas.
Like if you want to taste Wichita, Matt, Follow me to
Taste
Carrabba's.
of Wichita.
Come on over to an endless bucket of bread. At Carrabba's.
Yeah, so
That's awesome. We do have a Carrabba's. I went to Carrabba's, and I'll just to make you feel better. My wife and I went to Carrabba's a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, because we were just out of options, and it was there. That's cool. And it was pretty disappointing. I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted it to be great. I did.
Right, yeah.
And I thought, I was like, oh man, I haven't been to Carrabba's in years. It's probably
what
just
did you
as good as
order?
ever.
What did you get? You must not have got Johnny Carrabba or whatever.
I got, yeah, I'm going to have to look what I got. She got gluten-free something.
Oh, that's where you went wrong.
yeah.
That's well, that was the problem. Is
Yeah.
she has to eat the gluten-frees,
Oh man,
but she loves the pasta.
Yeah, well, that is a big problem.
And
yeah.
so it's
Right.
really a rock and a hard place for your boy here.
I can imagine you landed at Carrabba's.
Yeah, so because she was like, "Oh,
Spin the wheel."
Carrabba's has gluten-free pasta and they're
I'll do it.
open," and I was like, "Shit, that
Gluten-free
hits all the buttons." And the only thing that any restaurant has that's gluten-free is pizza. Every
Yeah.
restaurant has
Right.
like a gluten-free pizza. And
Cauliflower,
they all
yeah.
Well, I mean,
suck.
everything like a steak is gluten free, Matt. I mean, you can
Right.
take her to get a steak every now and then.
I offered.
Yeah.
You know, you
But
can
see,
take
she's
her.
not a steak person. She's a bread person. So
You can't be.
and she
Can't
can't.
really.
And, well, that's the whole problem.
Take her
This
to a
is why.
hypnotist.
This is why fate is cruel.
Yeah.
Is because she would
Have you
rather
guys
eat.
been to a hypnotist, a local hypnotist or something?
We need to get. We've had a couple
Actually,
almost
we had one
hypnotists
on the show.
Oh,
Yes.
really? Did
Not,
you guys all
hypnotized,
do-
not hypnotist yet. Maybe
Yeah,
after
he was
Halloween.
more of a mesmerizer.
Did
Wait,
you
wait,
guys
who was
get
our
mesmerized?
He was a mentalist or something, right?
Who, did we,
He-
who the
Chris
fuck are
Angle?
you talking about?
Yeah,
We
Chris
had the
Angle.
hypnotist on the
The
show.
guy-
Who do we
God.
have? Who?
Matt can't
You
remember because he
remember?
got hypnotized, dude.
I can't remember any of it. All I remember is the Carrabba's. It's delicious.
Yeah, that's stuff's real. I've seen it at a
Who
college
did we have?
dorm.
I'm like,
Really?
seriously,
Like-
I
we,
don't-
did. We had a hypnotist on the show.
no.
You booked him.
Matt, you were freaking hypnotized. That's what I'm saying. It works.
He did.
I really can't remember that. I really can't remember that at all. I'm worried that I was hypnotized now.
You were. Now, legitimately, though, if you
Christ.
could hypnotize your wife into either not being a either not
Right.
liking bread or
Right,
not
right.
having the disease, which would you do?
Oh, it would be the disease because the disease has been much more inconvenient for me. Not more than her.
well, right. But I want to make sure.
But
yeah.
the disease means that
That's
I
an
have to
authentic
like
answer.
right because I love to cook. I love to bake stuff. I love to
Yeah.
and I totally would like seriously if like shit goes south at my job, I might be right there. I might be opening like OK Taco 2 right beside you.
That's
And
fine.
it won't be tacos though. They will
long
never,
as you-
we'll never sell tacos.
All you gotta do is survive on love, not money.
I only know how to
Yeah,
make
we're-
white people tacos, so I can't like.
I'm gonna do okay hot dogs.
Yeah, it's easy. Just put a hot dog in it, like Freddie said.
There you go. Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Makes
put a hot
perfect
dog
sense.
in a tortilla shell.
But no, so I love to cook like Asian food and everything like that, and like it's like freaking impossible. Like gluten free is like, oh, we
Yeah.
can't have noodles, we can't have this, we can have rice, which is great. Hooray for rice!
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's just
Well,
a lot
rice
of
is
things.
good.
That's,
I
no,
mean-
rice is great. I love rice.
I used to not like rice though. When did you start liking rice?
Since
when I
they
was
he
poor.
put white butter on it. He put
That's
butter
right.
on that white.
Ever
rice.
since once I realized it was white like me, I was like, we have so much in common, me and
But
this
have
rice.
you always liked rice, even when like
I
when you
love
were
rice,
min-
man. Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
See, we're from the
I've
south.
always
Rice
liked
is
rice.
like rice is the staple food down here.
both
Like,
Yeah.
Alan and Freddie too.
well,
Yeah.
I was Puerto
Yeah,
Rican,
for us,
so-
yeah.
Grandma used to make rice and gravy.
Yep.
Like she would fry the steak and make the gravy out of the grease and shit. Put that shit on top of that rice, man. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
Well, I've just now been introduced to that way of living by my stepmom, but because she's from Louisiana, so everything
yeah.
is basically rice and gravy and
Right.
You should ask her to
Yeah.
come on into the restaurant and whip
Oh,
up
I
some
have.
andouille.
I ask her every time. I
Okay,
see her.
tacos, rice,
Yeah.
and gravy.
Oh, yeah,
That's
dude.
actually my dream. I wanted her and my father to do that. It's slow enough, that was the plan. That they can come, she can cook it. I mean, it's that slow. But it's still gotta be responsible. But you know what I mean.
Sure.
So,
But you
Right.
throw a little Cajun flair in there.
Oh
and you
yeah,
guys- you
no,
might be
she'll
onto
have.
something.
There'll be freaking shrimps in there, and there's gonna be. It'll all be a soup somehow. You know what I mean? She'll get to
Oh,
a
it's always
soup
a
of it.
soup, yeah.
Yeah, so it's always a gumbo or a soup involved.
Oh, and
but-
make a gumbo.
yeah, and I
With a
like her.
cornelli in it.
You know what I mean? It's not a big deal, but
It's okay.
yeah, she's
But
fine.
no, so yeah, if I had my choice, I would absolutely make the disease go away. I would make all diseases go away.
There
Oh
you go.
yeah, but I'm just
In general.
saying.
If I could hypnotize, if I could hypnotize her and get her to do one thing, it would be dishes.
Oh yeah.
That's the number one thing that I'm like, oh my
I
God.
think yeah. No, I don't.
Taco wiper do
Do you
dishes.
not like
anything,
dishes?
anything. I love dishes. I just
Oh,
love them
yeah.
when they're clean.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying. Do you not like doing it? The process of doing.
I don't
the dishes?
hate doing
You have
them.
a
The problem
dishwasher?
is we do.
Yeah.
See, look, come on, man. How can
How many
you
people you have?
just wash your
children?
hands?
You have two
This is the
children.
dishwasher. He's terrible. He's so fucking.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Now we have 5 people in this household, plus
All right.
a couple of animals and a turtle now.
That counts.
Yeah, no. The turtle is shit at dishes. He doesn't do the dishes for shit.
Right.
So
he was getting around to it.
He's
man.
learning. He's learning.
Yeah.
But
Don't
you know,
rush
it's gonna
him.
be
He's a
turtles
turtle.
learn slowly. They do a lot of things slow. So, now the problem isn't the dishes themselves. It's that if you have 3 or 4 days of dishes backed up, it's not just we just got to knock these dishes out real quick. It's like, oh my God, this is like a fucking biohazard scene because nobody pours out their shit. Oh,
Yeah, but
my God.
why is that? I've never understood that. I understand it because I do the same thing, but I'm also,
I do too.
you know what I mean? Like I am I'm such a loser sometimes, you know, but I'll have like just a little bit of coffee and I'll know the sink's right there. I'm looking at the sink and I'll just
Right
set it in the sink like a
let it
freaking
sit.
rebel. But here's the thing,
You
Matt.
gonna come back and drink it later?
Here's the thing. I will pour coffee onto that. My wife
Right.
will throw a fit that I left coffee in there. And my point is, I don't want it washed. I prefer
Right.
this is now. Do I prefer it?
He's
No, but
saving
I'm
that
willing
coffee.
to say it. I'm willing to drink it.
Oh,
I'm willing
I'll
to,
die on that hill. Yeah.
I will live it. That I
It's
do like
soaking.
it better. This dirty soapy coffee is
Yeah.
better to me a little bit,
It's
babe.
delicious.
You know. And so
Babe.
she gets. I don't understand the dishes though, because all other than the coffee, that's it. You know, oftentimes I will remember what we had to eat at home, and I'll be like, nothing. We didn't eat all
Right,
week
you
here.
didn't- yeah.
And
Right.
yet my wife's like, I've been doing dishes for 17 hours today. Like, what the hell are you talking about? How? From what?
Like, is that a code for something?
Like, well,
I don't
I made I made that bread. It's like, I don't know what any of that means. You know,
No,
It
no,
bread-
it's the same.
You made it,
Or-
ate it all. Where's the bread?
I don't
Or
know.
she'll be
Yeah,
in-
like, go ahead.
No, you had to, friend.
I was like, yeah, it happens at my house too, man. Like, I don't understand it. Like, we just put your shit in the dishwasher. That's all you
Just
gotta do.
rinse it.
rinse
Just-
it out.
I mean, what do
Just
you
rinse
Rinse it off, yeah. And rinse
Rinse
it off. Throw the excess food in the trash can.
I
Yeah, I mean-
mosquito in here.
I have one of
Something.
mine. He must have just left here because he was. You
you
might
ever
have seen me
see that?
swatting at him
He
earlier.
traveled across
Dude,
screen.
yeah.
We
He's
freaking
like,
shooting them through.
Internet mosquitoes. But no. The problem is, and my wife will admit to this, and she probably will yell at me about it probably as well. But that's fine. She is a very enthusiastic cook. So she sees a recipe and she's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna conquer that
Right.
recipe. I'm gonna pin it down on the ground and make it submit to my will." And then she tries, and the recipe overpowers her.
right.
And it could be almost any recipe, really.
I'd
But
say
it eventually overpowers her, and then she's like, "We're having pizza. Fuck you, recipe."
And then you're halfway through. All of the dishes are out. Everything.
Everything.
right.
Stuff you
As a
don't even
commercial-
remember buying. You know, wedding gifts, crap
Yeah,
like
even
that.
if you don't eat the food, the dishes
Right.
remain.
There's
Yeah.
a new Geico commercial where like it's supposed to be like the neighbors are looking in on these guys the way they do stuff, and they were like announcers, and like they'd be like, these leaves aren't going to bag itself, or it was something else. But he was talking. They were in the kitchen like news announcers. And
Yeah.
he told them some people clean while they cook, not these guys. You know, what I'm saying?
It's true.
And
Yeah,
every
that's
time it's
those
on, I look at my
people.
wife and I fucking die laughing. Like, is that so fucking you?
Yeah. Well, my wife is a great cook. She's amazing at cleaning everything, but
Right.
sometimes it's like it takes her so long. It's worth buying new stuff, or you
Right.
know, at some point we have to value interacting in this home. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not feeling like I'm in a waterfall because
Right.
you know, for some reason we're still washing this set of glasses. You know, why are we pulling these out? We're just gonna wash them right now, just like a
Right.
normal
Hours
thing
later,
to do.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I
People
might wash
people
these.
love to wash and wash and wash, and dishes
Yeah.
and laundry never get done, and that's just. that's
Can I
just the
throw an
curse of
idea?
children.
Like
That's good.
not, it's food related, but it's an idea I was reminded of because, in the Wichita area, the Humane Society was recently looking for a new director, and I don't know what experience you guys have. Alan possibly does with the recent heart attack with animals, but anyways, on a previous podcast that I used to do with guys, I had brought this idea up, but there wasn't a job position opening at the time.
Sure. Timing.
And
Timing's
now that
everything.
the timing is right, and there's like, at least with Zoom, and because of, it's almost like COVID was a blessing, which I'd never say out loud, but because of that,
You may have just
maybe I can apply for this position remotely. And one of my biggest ideas always was to kill two birds with one stone, to do things, to knock
That's not
out
going to be great for the Humane Society.
Well, hold on, because here's the thing, Matt. Here's the thing, Freddie. What I'm saying to you guys
Killed
is
two
this:
dogs.
what's happening? What's happening at these? You know what's not humane at a Humane Society? Anything?
What's
It's
that?
freaking, they're giving them death pills. They're making
true.
these dogs eat. It's a crazy. They got pits of dogs. I've heard. You know what I mean?
Pits
People, I heard
of
on Drew
dogs.
Barrymore's show.
Or
I
they
heard
will
on-
when he's hired.
I heard on Drew Barrymore's show they had a pit of a dog stacked 100 foot high on Drew Barrymore. Matt, what I'm saying is they're killing these dogs, and what's happening? They're burning them. They're going the ozone, global warming. We get it. We saw the Maui fires. What I'm saying is this, Matt. What if we cut these animals up into delicious treats? We feed the homeless. We solve two problems. And go stop it like it's an insult.
It's not an
Acting-
insult.
we got people that need food. We act
Right.
like we don't have the money, and we got a place that's killing perfectly great food, street food. Street
Right.
food. You know,
Streets.
unwanted. We got a three-legged cow. It's just a tiny cow, Freddie. What is a dog? A tiny cow? Tiny skinny cow?
They have udders, sort of.
In other countries, Freddie, why don't you walk to another country right
Yeah,
now and see what
yeah.
they're eating? Give you a backstrap of a cat when you go over there.
They will. They love
Yeah,
them.
you'll
They're
be sitting in a
delicious.
pool of
You
water
telling
in
me this is a
China
rat
dipping
burger?
cats. That's what you're going to be doing.
You just don't answer the question, Fred. That's the thing.
No,
Is you
I'm-
don't
I
answer. You
can't.
don't ask. It's a don't ask, don't tell.
Oh, what do you
Yeah.
do, Fred? What do you do?
Right.
Drive around and see a problem,
I'm
dog-
telling you though, like, hey,
homeless, and not try
Conrad
to
tries
solve
around and he
those.
sees a solution.
Matt,
I see a
Matt,
solution.
Matt knows my utopian, you know what I'm saying, the way I lean, you know what I'm saying.
Fred hates
Hey,
animals.
that if it gets to it, man, it's me or the dog. It's gonna be the dog.
Fred threatened,
I mean,
Fred
I'll eat
threatened
his
to
ass
eat me
up,
once
but-
on a 2-hour
You can
drive.
kill the dogs. However, I mean, we got to kill them. I didn't want it to be enjoyable, but if it has to be. It has to be.
I mean, if you got to do it, you might as well enjoy it, though,
You
right?
know, that's like a happy mortician, man. I mean, I guess they exist.
Like, I got that motherfucker. He finally died.
It is.
Oh
Best
my
day of
God.
mortician.
It's just a friend of
morticianing
mine.
ever.
He sent me that link. He's like, "Hey, man, I remember when we were talking on the show about this," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that was a great idea." And he's like, "I think it was
Still
way
is.
far before its time, you know." And I don't know if he actually still considered it. It just reminded him that I at one time said we should feed homeless people animals. And I said it in a way though that was, if taken out of context, yeah, sure, you can make it
Yeah.
bad.
Sure. It's going to be It's all fake
Politicize
news.
it, man.
Incorrect.
Politicize it.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
gonna do that, if you're gonna take me all Nancy Grace style,
Mitt
sure.
Romney, man.
Yes, God said to kill dogs.
No, if you like you said, why there's nothing wrong with feeding homeless people animals. You just don't specify, and if they
What
ask, you
animal-
just
what
look. You
animal
just
it is.
change the subject.
You don't
Yeah.
think it'd be more insulting to be like, what if you come from a different country? Have you seen those countries? I've seen it on a movie where they were eating candied crickets and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You telling me if we had a
It's the way it
camera
is.
going and there was a homeless man and I walked up, just me, dumb old hayseed me, walked up and handed a box of crickets to a homeless person. But yet, if the person from that place, if a person from that place brought them, they'd be like, "Oh, that's just their culture. They eat
Right.
crickets there." And I'm like, I just brought a gift from India to this street man, and I'm mad.
Do you remember bum fights?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
This-
That's
this
what
would
made
be
Joe
bum
Rogan
bites.
Famous, I think.
Bum bites with Conrad. Like, "Here, eat these crickets, bum. I'll give you $6.
Dude, the most talented fiddle player I ever seen was a homeless man, or a man that
Oh,
looked
yeah.
homeless.
He's probably very probably
He was
very poor,
performing
but
on the street. It was an electric fiddle. I think
Oh,
that's
well, then
what
he's
caught my
rich.
attention. Yeah.
if he can afford electricity and a
They,
fiddle,
Dog,
play
you-
Devil Goes Down
you
Georgia.
find
Better
out
than
that there's
most
an
of us.
electric fiddle. You go through your life thinking there's just normal fiddling. And you're walking around, and all of a sudden, on a bridge, somebody starts to play the electric
you're like,
fiddle.
what the fuck?
Like, am I in a movie? I mean, is the Rocky
Yeah, no.
Balboa going to?
I only know of that because of Lindsay Sterling, the electric fiddle lady.
Oh, dude, Donald Sterling was the Clippers owner that got
And
the
that's,
lady.
I assume that's her dad. I don't know.
Oh, there we
Maybe-
go.
maybe that's it.
Disney character.
She got famous from the internet, which is what we're trying to do right now.
Did,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
not
make us
working, by
famous
the way.
internet.
Hurry up.
Come
Come on, this live stream ends in 30 minutes.
on, internet. I know you're in there.
Do something. Don't cancel us.
Something's
Even
in
though
there.
we just talked about feeding dogs to human beings on the streets.
Hey, all of you.
But that's all dependent on the job.
This show don't reflect my show or whatever.
We try not to reflect our own show.
Yeah,
generally
there.
speaking.
There we go.
So, no,
It's just an
but-
idea.
Yeah, no, it's just, spitball. And that's the kind of, those are the kind of ideas that the city of Wichita needs.
That's
Oh,
right.
the city of Wichita, and that's a big place to change.
Right.
That's why I moved to Davenport. When I'm down here, it's small enough that I think I might have some impact. You know
You
what I
can be
mean?
the change.
Yeah, I think I am
Right.
sometimes on that stuff, which is fine. It's a lot of pressure, and really all it is. And a lot of people are great at it as far as just being different, break out of the thing a little bit.
Right.
The break
Right.
out of the bubble for a second. Come on in here to this taco shop with a rug from India that's in the middle of the floor,
And have
and a
some
bunch of
crickets.
pictures and a handicapped boy playing like a cat right there. Come on in,
Allegedly have some crickets, possibly.
And so, that's just to me that is what it should all be about. But that's obviously from my perspective. I also, I told my wife, here's how it all set up. This is it. This is how I did it. Take everything that I do because I'm antisocial and I'm an introvert and I overthink everything. So all the conveniences that have started happening with the fast food world and shopping world and everything, Amazon, all that stuff as it happened, I took all that because it's perfect for me. And so then then I realized after doing my show for so long, everybody hates me, Freddie. Done the
Oh,
show
no.
for 12 years, nobody likes you. So everything I like must suck. So when I build my business, I'm gonna take everything I like and I'm gonna go opposite.
Well, you can
So-
stand
Right.
it. Yeah.
I just have
There you
to.
go.
It gave me a business plan of do everything that works and is completely flip it, and
Right.
do everything that doesn't work.
It
And,
makes perfect sense.
and when you say it to bankers and crap, they're like, you
Right.
know how it is. They look at it
Yeah.
like, well, where's the money going to come from? And it's like, bud, you're the money side here.
Right.
I
That's you.
You come to me and talk about money. I'm here to talk to you about money. Where's the money going to come from?
Why are you asking me this question? Yeah.
What the? I just want to see a monthly income. Oh, really? You'd like to see a monthly? Oh, how much?
I would too. I would love to see that too. Yeah.
Really?
We'd all love that.
something totally different. Mr. So, anyways,
But
sorry.
I will say, Conrad, that it actually brings me to a question that I've been meaning to ask the guys lately, and I think you embody it. Whatever happened to pizzazz?
Oh, dog.
It's
That's the biggest compliment I've ever had.
I'm serious. You got pizzazz, man.
Yeah.
Like whatever happened to like back in the day, you'd go to a restaurant
Moxie.
because of something, or you'd go somewhere because they're like, that guy right there's got pizzazz.
Right. Yeah.
You would and you're like that. You're absolutely right. He's got mad pizzazz. It's all gone now. Everything's just boring and stupid.
Yep.
Even
I don't
us.
know what happened. I think what happened is that it just you get judged by it totally. Like, and it's not true though. Not in real life. Nobody will judge you about your pizzazz in real life. But
Right.
if you were to be doing that and trying to post it on social media, there's so much negativity about
There's so much hate.
everyone
true.
thinks that even when you're
Yeah.
doing it in real life, that it's for that. So if you're acting
Right.
as if
Right.
that, they think that you're
Yep.
putting on this character that's for that.
Right.
Right.
And like in some ways you are, because it's like, well, I live in this world anyways. I mean, I have to. If
I
somebody
am
took
the
a picture
character.
of me.
Yeah.
This is who I am right now. But
Right.
think that is what's hard. I think people hold back from, not just express. You just stay in your lane. It's just like
Yeah,
not
right.
or
talking
you
to your
get beat down
neighbors or
into your lane.
any of that. It's the same thing. It just has gone away, and everybody's, I think, scared of each other or scared of what. I don't know if it's scared or like,
Yeah. There's a lot of fear out there too, man.
or maybe
There's
it's just you
fear.
don't want to. Everything's like, I don't want to find out what everything's going on with this guy. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, it's you're sitting there. You got 20 minutes on the way to work, and you ask one guy like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they start telling you, and in your mind internally, you're like, "I didn't want to know all this."
Yeah.
It's all good. But people are doing that all the time, and that's what I've noticed when I do this. Just people are just looking for somebody to just be able to talk about anything, like,
Yeah.
and not feel like it's a judgment. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna get three thumbs because they had this opinion. And they just come tell the
Right.
crazy taco guy, and I'll be like, "That's a great idea. I think you should do
Got
that.
it.
Give it a shot.
You gonna
Like,
vote?
let's do it.
Cool. I mean, that's cool, man.
I got into a conversation this morning with a lady about voting, and I don't usually try to get into conversations that are political, and it wasn't political, which is what made it weird because it was about voting.
Yeah, and your shirts that asked me about my politics.
Well, no, it did. Like I was getting some lovely boiled eggs for breakfast this morning from a Harris Teeter locally because I was like, I'm trying to, Fred. I realized I'm not eating enough protein.
Yeah,
Right.
you gotta
So I was like, I got to get this. I'm trying to like lose weight. I'm walking and moving around and breathing in and out constantly almost.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, thank you, Alan. That's been happening a lot too. And the eggs didn't help. But so I was like getting these boiled eggs like a chump because I can boil my eggs at home. But you know,
Right,
bitch,
yeah.
these were
I'm with you.
pre-peeled.
Pre-peeled is nice.
So I was there, and the lady's
Those
like,
chickens are talented.
oh yeah, no, they're the best. they're Eggland's best. as a
Keep the
matter of
shell
fact.
in there, sweetie.
Yeah, I'm like, that's for you. That's your tip. You just keep that at home. But so this lady, I'm standing up there, this lady and this old dude, it's always an old dude. I'm
Right.
just talking, and she's like, that's why I don't vote. And I was just like, what? Wait, what? Like, I didn't hear any of the conversation before that.
You were just thinking
And
about
I
those
was-
eggs.
Yeah, I was just like, these eggs. I
Get
can't
these
wait
fucking
to
eggs.
swallow these eggs whole like a snake.
Got the little salt
Yeah.
and pepper packets.
Right.
I tried putting hot sauce on them. Guess what, Fred? Disappointed.
Hey,
Yeah.
try soy sauce.
I tried to make. Okay, see, here we go.
No, okay,
So-
never mind. Go on.
I tried to make. No, it's fine. No.
Don't
This
take a
aside
soy
is
sauce
worth
bait.
it. This is worth it.
All right.
I tried to make Korean marinated eggs, not today. And I thought they were disappointing, and everyone else was like, these are amazing. And I'm like, you guys just eat too many regular ass white people eggs because these are not that great. But everybody, like, all these people were just like, keep making them. And I'm like, I won't make them. I can't do it anymore. They were soft boiled, which is a plus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this lady's just like, then that's why I don't vote. And the old man was like, well, I mean, he was taken aback, and he was
Right.
like, you should vote.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I don't. And I'm like, and she's like, because do you know why? And I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go. And
Did
again,
you know
not a
why?
political reason.
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
did
not
you
a
guess?
political reason.
Oh.
No, well, you wouldn't have guessed, but I couldn't guess. I was just like, oh, fuck me. I don't want to be in this situation.
ID,
right now.
probably. Driver's ID.
No, because her ex is into politics and ran for some sort of political seat. And I was like, why wouldn't you vote
Vote against him.
specifically against him? Right. I was like, I mean, if you don't vote for anyone else, you should at least vote against the guy,
Yeah.
the guy you don't like.
That's
And she's
giving
like,
his power back. Yeah. I get
right.
it.
And she's like, no, I
Or
can't
not.
do that. And I was like, but
Yeah.
do you want to complain about it for the rest of your life?
Right.
And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, in my opinion, you're not allowed to complain
Mhm.
unless you vote.
Right.
Yeah.
And the old guy was like, he's right. Vote, and then you can bitch as much as you want. And I'm like,
Congratulations, Matt. You've made
Yeah,
it to
I'm like,
old.
yeah, right. I was like, and he's like, you're a young
You have
whippersnapper like
now
me.
become an old guy.
Dude, I had the same conversation almost to a T to the person that returns stuff at Kohl's in the back by the bathrooms.
Right.
About
Yeah.
We've been
Well,
there.
it's more just about not because somebody was back there complaining about COVID restrictions. Not
Right.
me.
Oh,
I wasn't
that's-
that guy.
Everyone
but
Yeah,
in
well,
the
you-
shower,
I was
man.
there and standing there, and she's like, "Well, you should vote," And again, it wasn't me, but I was like, the other person was like, "I wouldn't vote for these people either. No way." And she's like, "Well, then you can't complain."
Right, you can't complain.
Yeah.
Yes, but to that
And they still
person-
do.
To that person,
That
I was like,
person
"Yeah, you
could.
can't, dude." And I'm just
Yeah.
taking my COVID vaccine. That's what I was standing there. It's like I don't even know why you can't vote here at Kohl's. I mean, you could get Kohl's cash. Why are you talking to this Kohl's woman about voting right now, man?
Right.
You know.
Priorities.
And
Well,
what do you
but if you
buy?
could vote at Kohl's, more people would vote. I feel like.
Yeah.
You've got to.
Maybe get some cold cash.
Yeah,
$20
dude.
cold cash for every
Yeah,
vote.
hook you up.
I check into a Kohl's. I almost consider like going to a hotel. I check into a Kohl's about every 2 or 3 quarters. You know what I
You
mean?
never know.
Just
Yeah.
to see what they think is going on in the world because they got a
Right.
totally different world
That's
going
true.
on at Kohl's. They
Yeah.
found out about air fryers 6
Oh, man.
Christmases after you had one. I mean, I went into Kohl's like last year, and they
They're
were
like
like,
brand new air fryers, never been seen before.
and Cindy Crawford sitting in an air fryer, and I was like, oh my, I didn't know about these. Shit, I've been air fried. These people
Well,
are
crispy
crazy.
skin like me, sitting
I went in one year and like for their advertisement, they had like who was it? It was Tom Brady and Josh from Saturday Night Live. Married to Scarlett Johansson.
Married to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, it does the news. He does the news.
Colin
Jost.
Colin Jost. Yeah.
Colin Jost. Yeah, they had him and Colin Jost in like polo shirts, like leaning on each other.
I cannot imagine that.
They do have nice clothes there, though. I mean,
it's a bargain. I mean, we're not arguing about the bargain. It's a great bargain.
Right.
No,
it's just good. It's good people. Really.
It's not better than like TJ Maxx.
Oh,
go to
yeah.
TJ Maxx.
That's where I buy my cologne.
Too many X's.
Yeah.
There's too many X's in TJ Maxx.
Right.
They go and voted TJ Maxx.
I always I go to TJ Maxx and I'm always like, "Where's your guys' beauty aisle?" You know, and then they point me to the cologne. Like, oh, perfect, that's it.
Like, that's exactly what I came in here for.
I guess I'll buy this.
Get somebody to like it.
42-ounce bottle of Michael Jordan. Perfect. This is great.
Jumpman was a little off, but it's okay.
That's tough to get through the Jumpman. I mean, I tried everything. You try walking through Jordan cologne, you try spraying it on, and it has just got a bitterness there at the end. And it might just be the TJ Maxx version I got, but I think it's
Jumpman.
I think it's salt in it. I don't know.
It's like now with vinegar.
It's burned. Yeah.
That's the vinegar is the key. I do love TJ Maxx though. Now that you mention it, I need to go. See, here's the problem. COVID got me where like, and again, thank you COVID for this. Honestly, where like I don't do shopping ever. Yeah. Like I don't go to places unless it's like this is an immediate need and like my wife
or
makes
they have food.
Or I mean, they have food. I can't do anything about that. But yeah, COVID made it where I'm like, I'll just order everything online forever. Yeah, I'm willing to wait some amount of days. So I don't go anywhere anymore. Even though I don't like doing that
because then you don't get the sizes right. You know what I'm saying?
Who cares, Fred? When you're
that's right. Just send it back, right?
When you're built like this, you just get the biggest one on the sheet.
You just put it on. You know
like 12X, I'm like, 12X will fit.
Age that some people get to, and I think, unfortunately, Matt, I think it happens to white people earlier, where what happens is you hit this age and you just put shit on. You just, you don't care. People are like, that doesn't fit, and you're like, what? Yeah. What doesn't fit?
It's on.
What? You know, you start saying what over and over again. Just walk around.
Talking about any piece of my clothing.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Be more constructive, please. Be more descriptive with your feedback on my clothing choices. No, but that's a good thing. I think that's part of just not giving a shit anymore.
Oh no,
I think that happens eventually.
Maybe. I don't give a shit. Like I'll walk to the house with anything on. Especially if I'm just running up to the store. I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, my kid made fun of my shoes that he told me I should buy. I bought because I went, okay, here you go. Here's a perfect example. All right. So I was like, my dog, no, not my dog. I was wearing I like to wear sandals occasionally because I like to show off these dogs down there. And because they're pretty sexy. Most of them, not all 10 toes, but some of them are great. So
I call them shower buddies.
I was wearing them and my sandals broke. Right. And so I was like, oh my God, my sandals broke. What am I going to do? And then I looked online and I'm like, surely I can find a pair of sandals for less money than this. For less. And then, but the wild card is I'm a size 14. So I was like, I'm going to have
to find perfect though. Like in Cole, I mean, in TJ Maxx.
No, I didn't go to TJ Maxx.
You can go to TJ Maxx. You get online though. You can't get it.
I went to Gabe's, Fred. And
you went to Gabe's. Yeah.
We know the story.
You got Gabe's?
I know you know. You guys have Gabe's out there? Yeah, Gabe's is great.
No, what is it? Pizza Hut or like a?
It's like essentially
pizzeria and sandals.
It's essentially the Chinese buffet of merchandise.
Okay,
a little bit of this, a little bit of that, some shit. You're like, why would this be here? Why do they need car batteries and fucking flip flops? But they have them, and I'm not complaining.
That's where you can find size 14 flip flops. It's like they're by the batteries.
I found perfectly fitting, beautiful, according to my son in the moment. My 11-year-old son, who's very cool, and I'm very old and out of it, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, those are really cool sandals. And I was like, oh, and they're $7. They're mine. Like $7.
The brown ones?
What they look like? No, the bright.
Yeah,
no, those were his. Those were $11.
Oh, those were his. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, those were his. Because apparently those fucking stupid alien shoes are cooler than my regular old flip flops. But so they're these bright blue Russell Athletic. So they're very old. And they're bright blue, like you can see them in the dark. But I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm wearing them. And so
That's
I'm
a good
wearing
brand,
them. He's like,
dude.
yeah, it's it stood the test of time.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
That's
so.
what matters to me. Is I
Right.
know
It got you home,
exactly
right?
what I'm getting.
I think it
They got
brings
you home.
respect. I think it brings respect when you wear Russell Athletic.
Right.
People will be like,
got an
"Oh,
eagle on it.
What is he wearing? Oh, that's Russell. That's a Russell
That's
man.
People
Russell.
are like, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
he's
guy
got the
seen some
R8.
shit.
That guy bought that by some batteries. Yeah.
That guy managed to find a pair of shoes that won't match with
Guy's been to
anything else.
games.
You guys are the games.
I told you I got the Gabe's exclusive tennis shoes, the Donovan Mitchells.
It's called long COVID.
The
And
Mitchells, they couldn't even get McNabbs. They got the Mitchells.
Hey, Gabe's is doing their best, damn it. TJ Maxx got all the McNabbs. That's the problem. they got the Colin Jost trainers.
yeah. I bought Jaw Rule knee pads at TJ Maxx. I didn't know they were going to skate. Or what.
I didn't know John needed these.
Jaw Rule knee pads. You're going to buy them. I thought it was a smooth move by TJ Maxx.
The smart advertising. See, that's exactly it. You just need to get a celebrity attached to OK Taco somehow, like a
I've
minor
reached
celebrity.
out to people, but they don't respond typically. I don't know what it is about the way
Offer
I
them
phrase things.
an exclusive something. Be like, you can, hey,
I know. I'm just such a bad like, and I'm just too honest with things. Like, I wrote a note before about sending, you know how when you submit your podcast to things and you're like, hey, yeah, admit you think it's going to do something.
yeah,
Every time I would get annoyed in the process. And so I would just start copying people's descriptions from their podcast. And then I would put them all in there. And then I would build this huge slideshow and then I'd narrate over. Like, I held this whole collection of Jim Abbott, the one-armed pitcher.
Sure. Oh, great pitcher.
And I talked about how if he was to try to describe what he could do to somebody with one arm, and he was saying that he would win World Series with it, I doubt you guys would even listen. But I guess Jim, I go into this whole thing. And so if I reach out to a celebrity, I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't go well. I saw Ty Pennington. I told you about that one time. So
you did, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe you just got to find the right guy, like Tom Arnold and his Rice Krispie treats. That would go over well.
I could
Tom
get
Arnold
along with
loves
Tom
Rice
Arnold.
Krispie treats.
Okay, that's a good game. What celebrities do I think I could get along with?
Who could you pull?
Yeah,
Tom Arnold.
maybe,
He might be too much.
Well, I know you have a prior history with John Daly.
Yep.
So we're not gonna. I wouldn't want to bring him into.
We don't
the
want to pick
mix.
that scab. Yeah.
yeah.
So I would have to go. I don't know, man. I would think it could be somebody a little too old. Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson?
No,
Yeah,
Nicholas.
Jack
Not the
Nicholson.
golfer.
Yeah.
Either one.
The T man or the T man or the actor. Yeah, whichever one.
But what would you pitch him to sell you, like to
Okay,
license
good
in your
idea.
store?
Good idea.
That's the question. It's like Jack Nicholas presents.
Well, in that one movie,
insults.
when he was in the movie Anger Management,
Right.
I think that he went to that Buddhist monastery. So I could sell like a cheese-covered burrito with a picture of Jack Nicholson in that outfit and call it, like the Jack Nicholson or something, and then have him stand there in one of those orange, those big orange jumpsuits that monks wear.
Oh yeah.
Like without the prison sign on the back, but basically same jumpsuit.
Yeah, same thing. We know where they got it from.
Anyways, I could put him in that. That's an idea.
There you go.
I don't know
See,
what
that's
he
a good
costs.
start. That's a great start. Well, yeah, but you could.
I
Get
don't know,
out.
Jack. You're gonna have to spend some money from Jack, man. That's
I don't
it's
think so.
freaking Jack Nicholson.
Just
man.
do it without
Nicholas.
his knowledge.
I think that,
Nickel-
dude, but I don't
Nicholson.
what I would want to do with Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson isn't that. I would want to ride a motorcycle with him. You know, I'd want to get on the back of a motorcycle or have him get on the back with me, but not ride side by side. I feel like that would be odd. I'd be staring at him the whole time.
Right.
The sidecar.
I want to whisper to him as we ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you want to be in the back then. You want to ride bitch.
Have you thought about getting one of those? What do they call those 3-wheeled slingshots?
Dude. Have I ever? Yeah, for sure. I've thought about that.
We can rent those here.
I loved you in Wolf, Jack.
You should rent one, dude, and drive it here, and I'll ride back with you.
It's
Jack,
like
you were the
it's like
best
$80 for every 4 hours. So let's do the math on how much it's going to cost me.
We could probably buy one.
He was the best Joker.
He was.
He was the best.
Dude, I've been watching all of the DC universe lately. We've switched from Marvel to DC, and it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just totally different.
It's terrible.
It is.
Well, they deal with the same exact premises.
Yeah, it's
just
always
told in a more
there's a threat than the
like
heroes
an ancient
get
way.
hurt.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Right. The rule of thumb is that DC makes really good shows and really bad movies, whereas Marvel makes terrible shows and really good movies. That being said, I don't watch any of that shit.
They do.
Oh yeah,
They do
I didn't
right.
either until my kids got into it, and then now it's like I kind of get it because you know how when you transition from Breaking Bad, when you've watched everybody do every horrible thing on TV,
Right.
Eventually, it's like I guess I will watch this Thor, get Natalie Portman cancer or pregnant or whatever. I don't know what's happening here, but I'll watch it.
Yeah,
know?
I'm in for this ride.
It's almost better than like you can't turn the news on. Not for any of the normal stereotypes of I don't care. I just don't. It's all bullshit. It's like you turn it on and there's 15 different commercials about everything. It's like I'll just turn this shit off and watch Marvel. I mean, at this point, so I don't know.
You. Well, let me tell you what not to turn on, my friend.
Okay, you got it.
Is the Bracket Bastards podcast that I was on last week?
What the heck is that? Is that
you know what? Don't look
soccer? Is it like a soccer?
It is a. You know what? Honestly, I do wish that. I wish it was anything other than what it was. And the good news is they'll never listen. So, and even
if they
I
do,
wouldn't
hey,
give
what's
a
up?
shit.
Yeah, what's
There
up?
they
Yeah,
were.
what's up,
Hey,
bitches?
you bracket bastard guys,
What up,
you're
you
all
bastards?
unfunny and douchebags.
Oh
So
my God.
What happened to
they
you
are
on this
unfunny.
podcast? What'd they do to you?
So I signed up in like June, to be on this podcast, right? Because like you said, we're trying to make our way through this world. We're trying to get famous. Everybody says the best way to promote your podcast is to go on other fucking douchebag podcasts.
Correct. Thank you, and thanks for being on mine.
Welcome
Exactly.
to the shit.
Right. Welcome here. And so I was like, I'm going to join up. I'm going to be on this. It has bastards in the name. I'm technically a bastard.
And what's
So
fun is
That's
you
what
even,
got you hooked.
Matt, you even talk to
Bastards
others
in
about
the
it. That's what's even fun. You
Right,
told
and now
people
I'm-
around you, and you're
right
like, I'm
now-
going to do this. And they're like, we don't give a shit.
well, then I totally forgot about it.
Yeah,
And
right,
and then like an hour before it started, the guy like Facebooked me or whatever and was like, good for like 3:00. And I was like, who the fuck is this? And then I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I'll be there because I committed to it. And I try to be a man of honor.
Right.
And so what we were doing is so they set up
Can we
an
do it
elaborate
here?
Yo, yeah, we can do it. Do you want to do it here? Let's
Yeah.
do it right now.
Yeah.
Hey, which is better? Fucking popcorn or jujubes?
Popcorn.
Okay.
Popcorn.
But I need to know why it's better.
Because
And I need you to tell me a terrible joke about why it's better. And I need that to happen 64 times in a row.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, the
Please.
reason, and that's just tough. That's tough to do.
Yeah.
And like it was a lot of dick
So they
jokes.
do it there. They did it in bracket form, right? And they just
Right.
whittled down.
Yeah.
So like who won? Did you stay for the
I
winner?
did not stay to the end.
What happened? How did you leave them? Did you say like,
Well,
oh,
thankfully, and this is going to sound really bad to your audience and to my audience, and so our audience, excuse me.
Yeah.
And so just understand, everything is fine. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put this out. Everything is fine. Everything was fine by the time I got it, but thankfully, my lovely daughter, who has been afflicted with type 1 diabetes, which is a whole thing, had a diabetic issue during the show.
You couldn't be
And-
happier. I mean,
And I was, dude, okay, this sounds bad. And this is exactly,
I got
this
to
is
get a
like,
Coke.
it's the gift of the Magi. It's the fucking gift of the Magi because I was like praying, like in my head, I was like, please find something to get me out of the situation.
That must have been bad because God listened to you.
Yeah, for once. So we're an
You
hour
almost
in.
killed your daughter.
Yeah, he's like, I got this.
Get you out of a pocket.
Yeah. We're like an hour into it.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten through the first round.
What did you
And
say
it's-
about the popcorn though?
Oh, I went popcorn. It was It wasn't
Yeah, but
popcorn
what was your
versus
funny
jujubes.
story?
I said popcorn is better because it's fucking popcorn, and it was hot tamales was what it went up against. And I was like, hot tamales are gross, even though they're not that gross. But compared to popcorn, if you give me the
Right.
choice,
Yeah.
That
I'm
must
almost
have been
always
like
going
the
popcorn.
1 versus 63 or something.
I don't even know, Fred.
That had
All
to
I
be
know
like a
is
one.
at one point I had to choose.
Popcorn's high. It's got to be high in the bracket.
It was
right?
all movie snacks, so it was all movie snacks.
Yeah, it was
right?
all movie snacks.
Right,
Yeah.
which
64 movie snacks?
no,
Yeah,
there's
dude.
not because at one
Did they
point
do
they were like
goobers?
pizza.
I love goobers.
Pizza.
One time he's like pizza, and I was like, "What the fuck is no theater has pizza?" And then one guy, and this is when I knew I was in the wrong place. One guy's like, "I love the pizza they have at the movie theater," and I was like, "This is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
This is all my nightmares come true." And then
Now I know at some AMCs they
yes,
do
some
have
AMC
like
have
full service,
Yeah, they have.
and they may have
and-
pizza, but like that's only at AMC. They're not like across the nation. They
Right.
are across the nation, but like we only got one, and it's
Well,
2 hours away.
and
from
these people were fairly close to you, Conrad. They were, I believe, they broadcast out of Iowa.
Oh
Which
no, that's.
I don't know
problem.
enough about
Yeah.
our nation's
Those are
geography,
people.
but
That's-
I'm pretty sure they're basically your best friends.
No, they're hill people.
So-
Iowans are.
They
Yeah.
did sound like hill people.
people.
Yeah.
They had hill
They got
people
big-
voice. They
got
had
big
vibes.
foreheads.
They did have big forehead. Now that
I
you
know.
mention it,
Yeah.
It's not
it's
their
all
fault.
coming
I'm
true.
not, you know,
I should have asked you about Iowa before I
I
asked
sure
you.
did enjoy
Bangs
watching
never-
Parker. That's I tell
And I
you.
see
that.
Bangs,
Yeah.
Bangs never go out of style in Iowa.
I see a shovel walk through like a shadow of a shovel. I'm like, oh shit. You know, that's an Iowan.
Someone from Iowa.
Yeah, an Iowan's here.
Fred, can you name one city in Iowa
Iowa,
other than Des Moines?
Iowa City.
I think that's
yeah.
Oh, look at that
Des
technicality,
Moines,
but I think that counts.
yeah.
that's the only place in Iowa. I
True,
went
and you
was
got to
West
remember it's Iowa, so just start doing that. Iowaville, Iowa Ness. You're gonna hit them all.
Iowaton. North Iowaton.
They're not too creative in Iowa. Just start saying just names of people. That's all.
Iowa town.
Iowa
Smithville. Yeah.
Like people couldn't even believe that people would be like,
Loserburg.
really? You know, people would be like, we should make this a city. Like, are you fucking kidding?
Like, it already is.
Where? What? This? All right.
Like,
yeah.
there's nothing else here.
We're a city.
But flatland. It's
Cool.
like
man.
Sim,
You can tell.
Sim City.
You can tell.
That's too bad that you got on there, and that's that I don't like it when that happens on.
It was a bummer,
Shows.
man. Because a lot of times we've been on other shows. We try to appeal to people who want us.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Well, my next question was, which would you rather have, jujubes or pizza?
I would rather kill myself. And that is like,
No,
It
tell me one
was
funny
dry.
story.
Like
we'll see. And
maybe if they added like some background music
Yeah,
or something,
something,
man.
anything. No,
no.
Something. It needed
so
I
in the
have, they did
final
that.
in the
that
final
chicken
version,
needed some
Fred,
seasoning, man.
in the vinyl version, they did add background music, but it
Did
made
they?
it worse.
Ah,
Because I tried to listen to it because I was like, well, maybe sometimes when you create art, and Conrad knows this, sometimes when you create art, you're like, this art is not great.
No,
yeah, yeah.
And then
yeah.
you go back and you're
I
like,
say
hey,
that
you know
about
what?
everything I create.
This art is almost passable.
Yeah.
It's acceptable now,
Right.
weeks later.
right.
And so I listened to it and I was like, maybe this isn't as terrible. And then within 5 minutes, I was like, no, it's worse than I remember. We're done. And so I don't even know what I answered to most of them. But I do know I picked peanut M&Ms over standard M&Ms.
I think
Yeah,
that's
I
an
think
adult
that's like
choice.
when I joined in.
Yeah, that's an adult choice.
Yeah, and see,
though.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
So if ever
You
one
get
of
more
us,
M for your M.
if Fred, Alan, or myself ever go on a podcast solo,
Yeah.
we kind of have this like, I guess this pact, this like brotherhood pact of the at least one of the other ones will watch it. if
Okay,
possible,
fair. Yes.
And
yeah.
and text the person during it and tell them what a shit job they're doing.
Right, that's smart. Yeah, you can't get a big ego on
Yeah,
Yeah, we will keep it in
bracket
check.
show. Yeah.
Keep it in check.
People are
But
losing.
yeah, so
Bracket
we
show.
did that, and Fred and Alan were so kind as to tune in, and
Uh-oh,
Fred
great.
is like, "You are the least white person on this show," and I was like, "That is concerning to me."
Oh yeah. What was it? What kind of show was it? Did it have a diverse cast?
No,
No.
well, what do you consider diverse? People
Well,
with
it was-
different styles
okay.
of
There
hair.
was 2 women.
People- People in
That's what's
different
so crazy.
kinds of
When did we
garages,
start allowing women to podcast, everybody.
right?
Did we sign off on that? Here's what I don't understand. It took me freaking 6 or 7 years to convince my wife
Right.
to let me record a freaking podcast. And then I do it for freaking 6 years. And then all of a sudden, I got to sit here and listen to every ad is some bitch telling me that I got to listen to her podcast is going to make my life better. You know, it's like, what are you talking about? I'm not listening to your freaking podcast, lady. And it's not because you're a woman. It's because I've tried hard to do something to avoid talking to you called podcasting. And now you're here. Now you're
Now you found out the club.
You're sending me emails. You want to come on my podcast? Talk about what? How much I can't stand women? What are you talking about? This is a bad idea.
Like, I'm married. I know.
I'm
better
married. I
than
love
this.
my wife. I like one woman and a daughter. That's it. That's all I can
That's all you
stand.
need.
The rest
That's all you
are-
need.
Yeah. Unless they're older ladies. I'll take
Sure.
an older lady.
Grandma. Yeah, grandma.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the gilf.
Got a little grandma.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. You just find a sweet old lady. You know, they get it. They understand stuff.
Old ladies can be nasty too, though.
Yeah, I was like, they're like, I'm
Old ladies
your
can be
wife.
nasty,
Well,
boy.
you know, they're just good with their hands. They're just good ladies. They're just
It's true.
they always know shit that you don't know.
It's
I
bony,
mean-
creepy.
Right.
You just walk.
Creepy
They're
as
always like not hypnotist, but the other person that you said, a mystic or a mesmerizer
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, mentalist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Old
Who
women
is
are
this
wild.
person that we had on the show? Now I'm gonna have to go back and
Telling
listen.
you, man. You weird. It was probably what? About 2 months ago?
Is that
even
Peter
remember.
Dinklage guy on your show ever?
Peter
He's one-
Dinklage.
that,
We tried.
That guy can cast a spell on you, I'm sure. If
Right?
he,
His time. He said his time was short. He didn't.
Yeah. he carries a little
Fuck
spell in
was
his pocket.
on that? I gotta know.
Yeah, you don't
Oh,
remember?
look at
I swear to God, guys, I truly
Yeah.
do not remember.
Did
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage kill Jeffrey Epstein? Can we talk about that on Facebook Live? Did I break that story?
Fred, that's 3 out of or what?
He's
4 out of
below
5
the
weeks.
Somebody's done brought up.
No, not so, no.
damn
Hold
it.
on. Now
In the
hold on a
ether.
second. Let's clarify this. Not
No.
somebody has brought up Jeffrey Epstein.
Somebody
One
brought up
person
no
named Fred.
No, it was not me.
No, I never brought him up.
And-
Well, you didn't bring him up tonight.
He's
I
a close
thought-
personal friend. I mean, I don't know that guy,
He's misunderstood. I'll tell you that. probably.
right?
I mean,
If you
I
ever
don't
just
know.
talk to the guy, you got to talk to
As
him.
a guy
I
who owns a
mean,
restaurant, he understands the trouble of owning your own island.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Everybody
the
thinks it's just
problem.
fun and shit.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get the hostages in and
A lot
out?
of
I mean,
work.
the visitors in and out.
You ever tried to gas up an island, Fred?
Right.
Huh? It's putting gas in an
It's
island. Fred.
impossible. It's a fucking island.
It's damn near.
How much gas that needs?
You ever try to take the island down to the store to get some cigarettes?
Yeah,
Fucking
that
impossible.
shit has to come here. It's an island. You can't take this shit anywhere. That would be cool to own an island and do a podcast about the
Same
problems of owning an island.
Like, just island shit.
Yeah.
Fucking
That would be
crabs
hilarious.
everywhere.
Like, welcome to the show, Unrelatables. Here we are. Here's my problem, you know.
Coconuts. Coconuts again.
Coconuts.
I had a couple friends fly out. We were trying to get them a nice dinner, but of course the chef was bitching that the fruit trees weren't producing enough good fruit. And I said, whose fault is that?
He said the mangoes were not in season, and
And I said, why did
how
you
was I going to have
fly
a
them
mango
in?
tartare
You can
with
use
these,
the drone.
this quality of mango?
Jeez Louise. Yeah.
That's right.
It'd be a
So
good
we had
show.
to call in. We had to call Juan Julio from the island, the closest island, to bring it to us via rowboat. And of course, we
Juan.
didn't pay him.
Bring your tequila and your donkey. Please hurry.
That's
Yeah.
just like that movie, The Menu. That's exactly what it would be like.
I never watched that movie.
Oh, you should watch that
movie.
movie.
Good movie.
Well, I enjoy
If you
mysteries
like
that.
menus,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like menus.
Oh man, if you
you're
love
gonna
menus,
love
man.
that
Yeah.
menu.
Love
Good.
this.
Yeah, that's why I was good. I was on the edge. I
You're
was
gonna
like,
love this.
is it
movie.
good about menus or bad?
It's. I just warn you, it's about a dinner menu, not a
Yeah.
lunch menu. So
That's tough. Yeah.
that's some people's kink. You know,
Yeah, that's true. It's a little bit different. I can try to figure it out though.
you can work it out.
Yeah.
I think by the end of it, you'll be into it, and you'll be like, hey, how can I incorporate parts of this movie into my menu?
Well,
And
is there part that's about murdering? Isn't it? Isn't it a murder show?
I really just kind of stuck with the food part of it.
Really?
Okay. Okay.
I was really more interested in their plating techniques. So I would pretty much zone out when they weren't showing the plating.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was. I think it was a comedy. I don't fucking know.
Right. Well, there's
There's a
different
cat.
ways
Rusty
to-
Diamond.
There's different ways to watch different things, you know.
Oh, Rusty. Oh, yeah. I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Press the
Dollar is
button.
the dollar.
He did not.
Yeah, dollar's a dollar. That's it. Yeah.
He did not hypnotize any of us, though. But
No,
he
he
was a
kinda-
mentalist.
Well, he hypnotized you, man.
Me?
Well, he may have hypnotized me.
Yeah. You
Retro-
didn't remember it. That Rusty Dollar was the key word.
His name was Rusty Dollar, man. That's awesome.
Hey, I trust anybody named Rusty with my life.
And I heard him on the Bracket podcast, and he was great, dude.
Yeah, he's probably way better than I was. They probably picked something that wasn't as seemingly interesting as movie snacks.
Oh,
to
that is
debate.
a crazy thing. I can't
Top
imagine
64 magicians.
formatting. And I'm just kidding about ladies. I mean, kind
We
of.
love
but,
ladies.
you know, that's totally was just a rant. I got off, and I'm sorry, and I just want to apologize to all.
No, the good news is no
women.
ladies listen to this except for my
Yeah,
wife.
my wife does, and yours I heard subscribe
Right.
to, and I feel bad
did.
about it now. And I hope they
She
start
did it as a
podcast
gag.
about dishes or whatever they would podcast about, and it's going to be great. And I hope it's successful. Okay,
Probably
better
gonna
than
be
mine,
better
I
than
know.
ours. Yeah, exactly.
I know it is.
One podcast about dishes and how they never get done.
Yes.
Which is fucking on
They could just
iTunes
sit there
top
and
100.
complain like we do about us, and it would get a million
Oh,
views, and
Right.
everybody
Would.
would love it.
It
And,
would.
and so, you know,
I
knowing
couldn't
that
listen.
knowledge is why we tried to prevent women for so long from getting into this
Right.
industry.
This is why we can't have nice things.
That's why we called it podcasting. You know how stupid that sounds? Sounds like fishing. It sounds like nobody even likes the name.
Sounds like, yeah,
Podcasters
something
hate
no
the
one would
name.
want to do.
Nobody wanted to do it. Women didn't want to
Right.
be associated. Men thought perfect. Finally.
We got
Got
one. We
something
got
of our
one.
own.
And all of a sudden, Sarah Silverman comes in there, you know, knocking on the door. And we're like, okay, I guess we'll let her in. She's kind of funny, right? Remember the time she shit on the donut store or whatever she did? Yeah. Let her in. Frickin' come in there. Ruined podcast. Dumped Jimmy
Open the
Kimmel.
door,
Turned
man.
him into a damn liberal. All of a sudden, we were voting. People are talking about voting again. What the hell's going on? Just kidding, man.
Alan sent me the podcast apparently. I don't remember it.
What's going on?
I
Sorry.
don't know. Alan sent me a link to prove that existed, and I do remember it in a little bit.
Oh,
I
you
just
were-
remember that he was in
Totally.
Oregon or something.
I
And
told
then he
you.
kept walking around with his phone toward
You
the
can't
end.
Rusty-
dabble with
Rusty
that.
Diamond is the
Yeah,
the
Rusty
key word.
Diamond.
Rusty Diamond
I'm
was
not-
the keyword because you didn't remember until we said his name.
Yeah, once you said Rusty Diamond,
There's a- and then-
because it's not because I was like, oh, stripper, no, not a stripper, not stripper Rusty Diamonds, mentalist Rusty Diamonds.
Yeah, different person.
Yeah, different, slightly different person.
Different skills.
Rusty Diamonds.
But, yeah, Busty Diamonds. That's right. I got that confused. My bad.
That is a disgusting name for a stripper, the Rusty Diamond. Gross.
I love it.
Yeah. She's
Welcome
talented.
to
though.
Strip Talk with Rusty Diamonds.
Busty Diamonds.
It's their new podcast.
Hey, that would sell.
She's just a haggard old stripper. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this
See,
is
and
great.
that's the other thing I wonder about. Did you see Britney Spears dancing with knives? By the way,
I did, yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. What
I
is
got the
wrong
People
with
have
them?
said I saw somebody on Facebook because Facebook is a cesspool.
Mhm.
Thank you for everyone who's watching this on Facebook right now. You're sitting in a cesspool,
Yeah,
just
we
like
see
us.
you, man. Yeah, we
So-
see you, dude.
Claw your way out of it to fucking threads, I guess, or whatever
We're here.
that is. So no, but she was like, somebody was like, that's not Britney Spears. They replaced her with a cyborg, and I'm like, there is no cyborg on earth that could dance that bad.
No.
Oh, well,
Like, there's no robot that could dance that poorly.
it was like a camera angle too. You think maybe?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
She's
I
got
mean-
plenty of videos like that with that
Yeah.
same angle
She gets into
dancing.
that. That's
She
that
gets-
is
I don't
a.
understand it, man.
I think
Well,
it's
she
Like
supposed
you
to
kind of
do.
you kind of thinking now, like maybe her
Before
daddy
the
was
angle.
right for taking her money.
But
You know
what
what I'm
else does
saying?
she
Like,
have to do? That's the thing.
Dude.
What else? If you're
bro, she's a fucking multi-millionaire, dude. You can do
Well,
whatever
okay.
the fuck you want.
have you heard
Okay,
of inflation,
Not
Fred?
dancing in the fucking phone with
Okay, but
knives
what if
and
you
shit.
hate? What if you hate what you do? What made you the money?
Right,
And so you have all the money,
but you
But-
need the fame.
but you
still.
don't, and you don't even want the fame anymore. But you don't even. Your whole identity was being this thing. This
Right? Yeah.
is what she
Yeah.
is. Some lady dancing with a snake and now knives in a kitchen. You know, in her mind, it's the same place. I think she's like, I'm in that red suit with that snake on my neck. It's like, no, you're in a kitchen with knives and your kids are behind
With your
you.
little dogs running
it's
around. You
different.
go cut
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah,
There were dogs running around.
yeah, with those dogs behind you, and I.
Oh, she'd have hit one of them.
I don't know what she'd do. Like, it's like, what can she do? She can't go anywhere in this country.
Right.
or any.
Yeah.
I mean, she can go anywhere she wants, but not as hidden.
As long as it's in her house.
She should buy an island.
First thing that bitch needs to do is get rid of her phone.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just a mistake. She's trying to stay relevant
Relative.
to her old self and talents, which is understandable, but
and it's crazy.
I heard that her and Madonna was gonna go on tour.
Sure.
Oh wow!
Like
there's a punchline coming.
that's it.
I saw them at Carrabba's, and
that's what they're going to tour Carrabba's around the country.
They're actually really good.
They call it the breadstick tour.
Carrabba's near you, Brittany and Madonna.
Noodle arms.
Yeah, just cut your bread, dude. It's great. It's really Britney Spears. You can wash your feet or whatever. It don't matter.
Right. You want to see look deep into her soulless eyes? You could do it because she's always bringing your entree.
I've been talking about that. I had a friend of mine who was a big Britney Spears fan, and a lot of people often would call him gay when that was. People would say that.
You can say that. Yeah, you could say that.
That was in the 2004. You could call people gay, and people called this dude gay all the time for his Britney Spears love, and I wasn't.
Which makes
one
no
of them.
sense.
No, I didn't get it. Whatever. And so, anyways, as his fandom progressed and time went on and her career dwindled, I was like, hey, man, I think Britney needs help. You know, she really needs. I didn't mean to choke like I was crying right there. But I think she needs help because it was during that conservatorship, and he's like, it's good. He's trying to take control of her. I was like, I don't think that's the problem. I think it's the other way around. I think this person is a lunatic, and he's maybe trying to help her. And I think clearly that is, you can always get lucky in the end. I mean, he would just, it's not like he'd call me and be like, hey, I told you she's got all her shit together. She runs a Fortune 500 company, you know. You're right. It was the conservatorship, you know. It didn't matter. But
you should reach out to him and be like, see, I told you were gay.
Yeah, I told you. She needed her dad, man. She needed her dad. She didn't have her dad. That was the whole problem. Yeah. And he was the only one that was like, this lady is freaking nuts, though. I mean, she can't have a checking account. She can't have.
But you got to think about it. How old was she? Was like 16?
When I met her, she was around there.
When I met her, she was like 19, I think, when her first explicit video came out. Yeah,
when her first upskirt.
Because if I recall correctly, I remember looking her up and making sure that I wasn't a creep for being like, "Hey, now, hey, you got to do that, man."
You do. I always wondered if it mattered. You know what I mean? I felt like once I was doing that, the creepy thought had already happened.
Sure.
But
yeah, but you know,
I was hoping that God would sort it out.
You got to push it back. You got to push it down.
Let me just see how much shame I need to apply to myself.
I'd be like going to his Rolodex, and he'd be like, "Okay, Conrad, well, it looks here like you looked up Britney Spears." I'm like, "Yeah, but check out when I checked her date."
Right. Like, see? And then I was only attracted to her for like 4 minutes before I realized she was underage.
Notice, if you zoom into this picture of my life, God, notice that there's two windows open, one with her and one with her date of birth. I noticed it first.
Don't you see?
Don't you see?
I thought you knew everything.
Oh my God.
She's doing good.
She is nuts. Well, that's part of being a celebrity, man. Trust me.
Yeah, man. For like
possibly.
Trust me.
Trust
crazy
me.
life, dude. Crazy life.
Yeah, that's why I've shunned the celebrity life.
Yeah.
That's why
you were familiar with it. Didn't your mom win the Lifetime of Chocolate?
She did. She won a lifetime of caramello bars. That's
correct. So that's
right, and that's a
certain amount of celebrity.
That was my brush with celebrity, and I was like, I can't handle the pressure. I can't handle the
caramello, man. That's what they used to call
like, hey, caramello, and I'm like, I have a name.
Yeah,
I don't remember it, but
go home and you're like, I'm never going to eat this candy again. Throw it through the wall.
Dude, I cannot eat that candy to this very day.
Eating it.
With your mom, it's like, I never know why you enter these contests, Mom. You know what the kids
if I ask her about it now, she's gonna be like, you owe me for all those caramellos that you threw at buildings, which was a lot.
That's a lot of celebrity. I mean, it's not that you live the same life as Britney Spears, but you can relate to it.
I mean, it's 75% the same.
Yeah.
The problem is once you become
dancing with caramellos,
right?
Dude, if she was, you should be making that video. Whichever one of you.
If only I had my bikini handy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw some Carmelos in there, place those knives, and post your episode. That is it.
We totally. I could recreate that dance. I'm pretty sure with candy.
That is hilarious.
That shit was insane.
No, dude. But see, that's the thing. You become a one-trick pony, and everywhere you go, you're that thing, and you're not like me. I was the caramello guy. I was no longer this human being with feelings and emotions. I was only known for my delicious treats that I stuffed into my pants everywhere I went.
Yeah,
But you give them out when they be all melty, like
but if you avoid
chocolate.
that, like what if you by you using Carmelos as insulation in your pants, what if that got you millions of dollars?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because in today's world,
in today's money, it would be
happened.
worth millions. Like, anyways, I'm just saying, if that got you millions of dollars, but then all of a sudden people didn't like you, you still had the money,
right?
And you still had the pants,
right?
And you're like, should I keep doing this? Don't you guys still like this? And I don't think Britney Spears is acting any different than she was 25 years ago. It's just that we now look at it at this angle rather than the angle that they showed us before.
Right. I think it's really her makeup that does it, because her makeup has made her from like, like potentially sexy.
She did that herself
to like, holy shit, this girl is on drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
Her
There's
nothing
wrong with drugs.
Her panties is too big. Like,
do you think it's drugs?
I don't think it's drugs. I just think that it could be drugs. And again,
I believe
lots of different
it
drugs.
was drugs. Those are the lasting effects of drugs.
It's residual.
Yeah,
it could be that.
Yeah,
a lot of people would do like Jack LaLanne juice weeks and stuff like that out west.
That's true.
She looks like she's freaking she's done a lot of juicing. You can tell that those are juicing muscles.
She's
that's a cantaloupe muscle that she's holding those biceps. It is. It's built out of detoxifying. Matt needs more protein. He admitted that to us, and thank you for doing that earlier.
That took a lot of courage, exactly.
And so I appreciate that. But Brittany, she's just been juicing too much. She's been detoxifying. She needs to get toxic. Needs to get back in.
Maybe she needs a little something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
some of those knives can't give her.
I think she needs to be on drugs. You guys are right. She's post drugs. Get her back on them. Let's pump her.
It looked like they were the same knives too. It's like she bought the knives purposely,
specifically for the dance.
For the dance. Yeah.
Guys, like, what are we doing? Let's combine all of this.
Like
we've done this
store kitchen knives.
Okay, Brittany.
All right. All we wanted to do now is Britney Spears owns the island, right?
Right.
Britney Spears owns the island that we want to have. Okay,
yeah.
Britney Spears does the podcast. Now all of a sudden it is famous. Britney Spears is doing the podcast. We're on there as consultants, obviously, podcast professionals. Britney, we know how to hook up to Facebook Live.
Right. She would love that.
Yeah. Check it out. I tell her what
figured it
Facebook
out.
is, you know what I mean? I talk to her about emails and shit. I tell her about all this shit. And she'd be like, what? This technology genius came over and talked about it. If I buy him an island, we'll do a podcast about the struggles of an island.
Right.
I'm like, great. And then I'll
island people.
See, and we'll do all three of them at the same time.
We make it a not-for-profit. We take in dogs as donations. Okay.
And then we feed our guests.
You murder all the freaking dogs, okay?
Right. With the knives that Britney Spears
personally?
Britney Spears and I fly over in a chopper, dude, and we freaking unload like they do with like peanut butter and stuff. And unload all of this food.
Hundreds of dogs.
You know, all of this, cooked dog meat, dogs off the spigot and stuff, throw it all down. Like, here you go, guys. Eat
dog.
She did have those little dogs next
Me
to
and
her
Brittany
anyway.
got it. Watch our podcast, dude.
It's rated dog meat, like
and then
sense of meatball.
And then
Conrad
goes back,
dude. I'll call it COVID-19. That's our island name, but with a K.
With a K, but not where you would think.
K9. It's not of the dogs. K9.
COVID-9.
K9 and then teen. And then
there you go. Yeah, it's just K9, but then it opens up.
Because it's like Jeffrey Epstein.
But see, then
Teen Island.
Yeah.
And then
they help us kill the dogs and learn lessons about
life. Yeah, learning life lessons, survival. You know what I'm saying? They got to chase the dogs down with the knives.
Everybody in
the jungle.
And then, but see, here's the twist: is then you get this exclusive deal. You can only sell Britney Spears dancing knives at OK Taco.
That's right, dude. You mix all of these worlds together, and what you've done is you've done what all the billionaires I think talk about, where you got multiple sources of income now. You go to your financial advisor, and you got your taco money, and you got your other money. And then you're like, I got my island Britney Spears podcast money coming in right now. Where do I put this? It should be about $1 billion. It's $1 billion right now. Just
at least
it won't fit in my bank account, mister. So Anyways, that'd be
I'm gonna
fun.
buy one of the Dollar Tree knives and like do that. I'm gonna just like get some tape and write
You're
Britney
gonna
Spears
cut the
dancing
shit out of
knives.
yourself.
Like
Yeah.
it's my new hustle.
You can use your own knives, Freddie. You have knives at your house, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
No, his wife won't let him
I
get to
gotta
those.
You have to buy
You
Britney
gotta have the
Spears knives.
packaging. You gotta have the packaging.
It's
man.
all about the branding.
Oh,
It's
I
all
thought,
about
you
the
meant,
branding.
I thought you meant that you were gonna buy them now for like just a dance.
No. I'm not
He's
gonna
gonna buy
buy
them.
them.
He's gonna buy them, relabel them, and
I
then
got
sell
you.
them to Britney Spears.
Oh, that's like when I spray
What's up,
painted
what up?
those reading glasses and sold them as Eclipse sunglasses.
The exact same thing.
Yeah,
You just
That
cut
was
pieces
easy.
of cardboard up, and you're like, "Look, it's sunglasses."
easy
With a
$5.
pinhole.
dude.
Hey, are you guys going to be in the path of the eclipse that's coming up? I heard there was an eclipse coming up.
Is another one coming?
Yeah,
Another
there's
coming.
one.
Not for us.
I think probably we typically get any kind of
That's the
cosmic.
one that's gonna bring the aliens.
Yeah, the cosmic like to talk down here. I think they show up in our weird like Salt Lake City middle.
That's
we got
true.
Native American ground, so they're here
Mhm.
constantly.
Yeah.
They're here
Yeah.
all the time. So
Yeah, I wanted to mention I've been watching Reservation Dogs.
mhm.
It's set in Oklahoma, y'all.
That's yeah. There's a lot of that. I think there were scenes that were shot in Tulsa, which is like 40
Mhm.
minutes from here. So
Right, yeah.
but yeah, we're in. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's probably very similar to anywhere in rural Carolinas. It's just
Right,
that kind
yeah.
of country. It's just Casey's, and it's all it is a general store or stuff like
Mhm.
that
Trailer
scattered
parks.
throughout trailer parks. And so when we show up with
Packs of
the
roving
pizzazz, and we start shoving airstreams into the sides of buildings and saying podcasts and arcades and crap, then we become the aliens of the
Right.
ground. That's
See,
what it
that
almost
maybe
is.
Right, yeah.
So there you
Yeah.
have it. Conrad is a lizard person.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
probably that might fit. I've read about them. I think I got a little bit of that going on somehow.
Yeah.
So
Did you see that? He blinked and his eyes went all wacky.
Yeah, they were like
Sideways.
this.
Just like that video you showed me.
I was that guy on the flight that the lady was pointing at. That nobody ever saw.
You're not real.
Yeah, I was like, I know.
You're like, yeah, no shit, lady.
I'm trying to get back and sell tacos for a living. Clearly, I'm not real. That's my job.
Like all I ever wanted was to be real, but apparently I can't. That's not going to work for you.
I was
Susan.
like, listen, could you just sit down and tell me what your favorite movie snack is? We get this podcast.
Right, come on, Susan. You just got to tell me: is it goobers or jujubes? Which one is it? You bitch.
Speak freely.
I've been asking you the whole trip.
Yeah.
I love Google.
Just explain to me why you like nachos more than pizza.
I always like
Tell
to
me
listen.
why.
I mean, it's just fun. That would be a fun podcast to set up a microphone at a movie counter to listen to people order
And make them
snacks.
do it.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Like they come up and you're like, "Do you want this or this?" And
Because
tell
you're
me
gonna
why.
get, if you were to guess what somebody does order and then see what they do, that would be a fun game.
See that I
Yeah.
would enjoy.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be more fun.
Right.
Because you'd be
than,
like, this guy's gonna get a goober. This is a goober guy.
And again, not to go back. This is the problem, though, is that the people on that podcast would be like, "Hey, goober,"
Yeah.
like a wiener, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Jesus Christ!" And then they're like, "Oh, what was it? M&Ms. M&Ms are salty chocolate balls. You remember that show, South Park with chocolate salty balls?" And I'm like, "I want to kill myself." And
Yeah.
then God's like, "Hey, let's try that with your daughter." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, gotta go. Thank you."
Yeah. So they had the kind of humor that was sometimes people will do that where it's over the top, like an over the top, overtly sexual,
Right.
right in your face, like that.
You can turn anything into sexiness. Like it's so easy. It's
surely.
low hanging fruit.
It is, and so
Just like my balls.
well, and I think that just comes from if you did this like you guys seem, which I know, with your fandom of talk radio style, then that's where you still try to talk around a subject to
Right.
make
It makes it
funny.
more fun.
Yes,
Right.
rather than directly to the point. Yeah, we all saw
Right.
the bullseye, guys.
We
That's
all
why
know.
we were
Yeah.
Yeah.
flying
We
around.
all know that men and women touch each other's butts, and that's how babies are made. We all know
Right.
that.
Sure, that is how babies are made, in the butt, and we teach our kids that.
Right.
That's what we, and that's what
I'm
we
teaching
wanna
every
do.
kid in this neighborhood.
We've been
that.
teaching kids that, all of them,
years.
every kid.
on
Which
my island.
Britney Spears is a co-owner. It's a partnership,
Like just whatever you do, kids, don't touch butts.
and it's a not-for-profit. You guys are welcome to come to this island anytime.
Not till you're 13.
And those places, you know what's so crazy? And I want to thank, what is that new movie that I want to thank Sound of Freedom for
Sound of Freedom.
sponsoring. sponsor of tonight's podcast.
Where's our eagle roar?
As we continue to talk about the problem with human trafficking. So to remind all
Human
of you
trafficking.
viewers,
I'm going
that
on the human trafficking podcast next
we
week.
joke about this subject. It's only because we see how much of a problem that it truly
Problem
is.
that
Yeah.
is. We're just trying to bring awareness.
You're trying to
You
bring
can
awareness.
abduct a 13-year-old Latino girl or an 11-year-old white girl. Which would you do and why?
Dude, I always thought it would be a hilarious app, like a traffic app, to have it called human trafficking. And when you were on
It's
the
just
bridge-
traffic.
Yeah, it's just traffic for that's what it is.
'cause it's
That's-
human.
It is just human traffic. And so, but I tried to get the website. It was like
Yeah.
money. I don't know. How
No.
it really wasn't as much as you thought it would be.
What if
to
you
get
do
You get a
human
knock on your door, man.
trafficking.org?
What's that? Sorry.
Humantrafficking.org.
Yeah, you could get it
Probably
at
fine.
.org or
Probably
.gov.
fine.
.gov. But,
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Make it federal.
it's probably taken. But no, that was a.
Let's
I
keep
don't
an
know.
eye
I
on
was
it.
doing the. I had that idea, and then I had an idea for a on a website. You know how like to get people to go to a website, because why would they? I mean,
Yeah.
even for
Right.
a show, it's like you listen via the apps that stream it. So how do you get people to go to a website? And I wanted to build a human trafficking slot machine, digital slot machine thing that when you pulled the slot machine, it had like trunk of car, you know,
It's all trunk of car.
open trunk of car or something. You know what I mean?
Van.
And then,
White pedal
yeah,
van. White pedal
white
van.
panel van. And there's really no point to it. Like when you win, it's like you never really feel like you win.
Right.
Even if you got all, girl running aways, you would
Yeah.
look at your spouse and you'd be like, I'm on this taco's website
So
where it's a
conflicted.
human trafficking
But I
slot
can't
machine
stop playing.
that I for some reason got 3 running away girls and it says you win. Click this link. It's like
you win a free taco.
you don't even know what you do, I always thought that would be funny if you clicked it and it took you, it could go anywhere. It's just
Yeah.
a fun
Yeah.
game, a maze. That's for nobody, because that's when you unfortunately you will do those things sometimes. I'm sure you've done these where you've put them out there and when nobody finds them, it's like, man, you guys, there was a joke that was just laying there.
Yeah, our
I-
website is full
Yeah,
of Easter
yeah,
eggs.
it's like
Just go to it, anyone ever, please.
right, and you're gonna find all of these hidden things.
So many hilarious jokes.
I mean, there's
So
pretty
laying
great
around.
stuff. Yeah, pretty great stuff on there. I'm
So
not
many
gonna say
words.
that Mark Norman completely word for word ripped off my act by reading my website, but did he?
Right.
Yeah, really did.
And he did.
And I'm not gonna sit here and call out great comedians that people think are great, like Nate Bargatze for stealing my act.
Right.
It's cool that he wants.
Yeah,
to
and
have
I'm not
jokes.
going to call out Bert Kirshner for being fat like me.
Right,
That
and
dick-
making
I was
and the
fat first,
machine.
motherfucker.
You were the freaking machine. Matt the machine
Yeah,
was.
I
the
take my
machine.
shirt off everywhere.
You always have.
I brown-eyed an elderly couple at an Applebee's in 1998,
Freaking Rusty Diamond. I remember that.
and it's
Chris
true.
Rock. Chris Rock slapped me backstage at the Oscars first.
It's true.
In
But it was
1973.
backstage, so nobody saw it.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
that's bullshit because it's you're the same. That's what I'm
Alan's
saying.
like,
It's-
and I was there
we
too.
they're stealing from us. They're taking our material, and we're sitting here having to watch successful, comedians and women
Come up.
Of all things,
that do
Come on.
things.
it's not the comedians; it's the women problem. Is the thing.
I didn't mean to go on that. I hate it when I do that. That's how that's stupid. I fix on something sometimes, and I'll come back to it, and I do women, and it's just get in trouble. I get in trouble every time.
We
Go
all
too
do.
far,
We
say
all do. But
something.
we're trying. Hey, you know what? We're getting better every day.
I think so.
Every day.
And now we can start the show.
Yeah.
So
What do you guys want to talk about on the show tonight? We're gonna get to the
That's exactly how they always go.
show.
We have. I would like you before. I know we're running a little bit long, but I would like you, please, Conrad, to tell me or tell Alan about the amazing discovery that you discovered.
Well, Alan, you're a fan of technology, obviously. And so with that comes a lot of power, and you have the power to purchase the Peacock Network. It's a streaming service by NBC. You can purchase it on all streaming devices, phone, whatever. And when you buy that app, and I encourage you to at least go a 7-day trial, because Peacock's not paying for this, Alan. I know it seems like I work for Peacock and I have the money of Peacock. I don't. This is all LED lights. It's $7 at Amazon. This is nothing behind me. Okay.
Conrad has no cock money.
What I'm saying is I don't get paid by Peacock to say that Peacock, in their infinite wisdom, decided to hook the audience by letting them know that we can now watch what Reba McEntire is picking to watch at home, Alan. And so if you're thinking, why do I want to buy Peacock as a streaming service? What you're going to do is be like, well, have you ever wanted to sit on a sofa, click on a TV and say, what's Reba watching? Yeah, I think you have. Because once you've, just let me give you one idea. Does Reba like to unwind with a little bit of mystery? Does she like to unwind with Dan Aykroyd's Ghostbusters? She absolutely does. Not Ghostbusters 1 or 2.
I like that it's only like Peacock related things.
There's 3 Billy Madison movies on. I mean, 3 Adam Sandler movies. There's Ghostbusters. There was On Golden Pond, which I actually watched like a little bit. It's actually not a bad movie.
Great movie.
And I don't know if Reba wrote it or whatever. And she might have wrote all these movies. Is the whole thing.
She produced. The
thing is, when it comes to trying to find out where all the money goes, and I found out it goes to NBC. And what did NBC do? They gave it to Reba McEntire. And I think you couldn't have picked a better person to help me and probably Alan decide at home what to watch. And so I don't know if we can splice this video together and send it to Peacock, but it'd be nice to send them a thank you video to counteract the Reba McEntire introduction video to her curated content. That happened. She's now a member of The Voice. She told me last night on Peacock, and she wanted me to not watch The Voice, but to watch Happy Gilmore after I finished on Golden Pond. So,
we'll see.
anyways.
And Alan, just so you know, just to add to that, if you subscribe to Pluto TV, you can watch Britney Spears recommendations, which is just a blank screen.
Yeah. I was watching Britney last night, all night.
And she was like, "Don't watch The Voice."
Do I go on the website and Peacock website?
Well, I just encourage you guys can take this. I used to do it all the time, and I should do it again. I told my wife when I watched Reba McEntire explain to me what TV was last night that it would be great to have. You guys should have it in your soundboard. And anytime you're doing a show, every once in a while, Matt, just be like, "Hey, what's Reba watching?"
Yeah, what's Reba watching?
And you just click it, and it don't matter. Hey, y'all, I'm watching Ghostbusters tonight. You know, here's a little. Hey, y'all, this is Reba McEntire.
Sit back in the bed.
When I'm not getting fancy,
Tonight I'm watching Jag.
She dies. Reba McEntire. She's the Carmelo. She is the Carmelo person. She is Britney Spears. She became Reba McEntire for 2 songs, and she has stuck with that since. She hasn't written. She's like, what new music?
What are some Reba McEntire? I don't even know.
She sings about being a hooker, fancy.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where her mom
Well,
dressed her up,
fire.
child trafficking again,
Yeah,
and
there we
also she sang
Nice.
about
Tonight I'm watching
Lights,
The
lights
Island.
went out in Georgia.
Georgia, the Georgia Lights.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
That
I
was
think
the night
that's
they
a
killed
cover.
an innocent man.
Yeah, that's a cover. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean, you know.
And
it
so
was
she sang, but she
appropriated.
got famous for those 2 songs, and then I think she blew a guy or something like. And then all of a sudden, she's opening a restaurant in Oklahoma, and she's my competition, so I got to call her out.
I wonder if she ever recommends her own show, because she did have a show.
Yeah.
For
Well,
like
guess
a
what her
number of
restaurant's
seasons.
called? Reba's.
Oh, it's, of course.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a show
I
named
would
Reba?
have went with
Yeah, she had a
McEntire.
show.
Yeah. She had her own TV network. It went for probably 35 seasons. It's one of the longest running shows ever, where she sang the same song, Fancy, the whole show. And she's just 25 minutes.
It was really based on that song. The whole show was
Yeah.
the premise of the
30
show was
minutes
based
shows
on
the
that
same
song.
fancy
It's just
times.
her, like, it would be scenes of people doing stuff, and then her coming in singing Fancy. And
Here's your one chance,
Yeah.
Fancy, don't
Be
let
like-
me down.
so imagine like Happy Days, and then she kicks the door and singing that. It's like,
Singing about,
It was good.
like you said, the time her mom prostituted her and all that. Good times.
Yeah.
Good time. Great for sitcom. It's a great sitcom.
it was a good way to launch a
Great family
career,
show.
and a great woman, and she's picked just a terrific playlist on Peacock, and I got to thank her for that.
Right. So go,
Thanks for
Alan,
giving me that time.
go to p-cock.com
Yeah, please.
and sign up. Register for your free trial.
Right.
Yes.
I assume that's how you spell it. I don't know.
I already did. I'm on it.
Yeah.
Alan's in it. He loves it.
And see if we can find K9spaceteen.com too, where we send dogs to Teen Island where they kill them to feed the homeless as a not-for-profit. while
I
you're
love it. I love it.
clicking around.
I love the idea of Teen Island. It's like what a great name for this horrifically like terrible place where only the dogs die. Like, we're going to Teen Island this
related to
weekend.
COVID
guys.
too. If you say it's K-19, they'll be like, "Oh, it's like COVID-19." It's like it's not related at all.
No,
Just a happenstance. And we just murder dogs with a
We named it in
lethal
2018.
injection. Yeah. And we call them vaccine packages when we deliver them to you, but that's different too.
Who wants to get vaxxed?
Yeah. We call them vax packs for the homeless. That's what we call them, but that's different.
So we take homeless people to the island.
Yeah, it's not
We're gonna
related
have a
at
beach
all.
vacation for a week, and then we're like, "Oh, you're hungry? Find a dog."
Sure, we have a mask mandate. We wear a mask mandate
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. But it's
And
nothing
we vote.
COVID-19.
They can vote on which dog to kill.
Yeah. Please vote on our island. Would we have a democracy? Probably not.
No, not with that many dogs running around.
The teens
We
are out
just
there
need-
living like Lord of the Flies.
We need to pick like one, like a John Daly type, one out of beat celebrity to run the island of teens. Somebody we trust though.
I mean,
Britney
Epstein-
Spears.
Epstein's got his name written all over that.
I don't know, like a Russell Crowe. You know what I mean? Like,
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, we have beef with Russell Crowe. I can't.
oh yeah.
I called him fat once, and a bunch of people on the internet were like, "You're fat." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, no shit. I'm aware of that. I'm not fucking Russell Crowe."
Yeah, if I was Russell Crowe, I wouldn't be fat.
Right,
Jesus,
like
it's
there's a
unfair.
difference. There's a reason. I eat McDonald's. Russell Crowe eats fucking gold-plated steaks every night.
Yeah, I just saw Russell Crowe was in Spain. Okay, I don't even know where that is.
Yeah. It's a douche place.
Can't drive there. It's stupid.
But yeah, no. So it was very weird to me that like of all the things we've said a lot of
that got
probably
people hot.
explosive things. Yeah, and the one thing that really pissed people off is when I said Russell Crowe was the fat gladiator.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
That got him. I don't know how that worked out. but-
Fattiator,
Yeah,
yeah.
Fattiator. That's exactly
Yeah,
what
it's
it is.
fatty.
That offended. That
Yeah,
hit
I'm hearing
deep
that.
for some people.
Gladiator.
A
Yeah.
lot of Russell Crowe fans.
Well, then what about
Watch
Steven
out,
Seagal?
Conrad.
We can have him.
Do they listen to the show, Russell Crowe fans?
Apparently they do. They do just enough to find out if I hate him or not. And then
Oh
they bitch
wow!
at me about
No,
it.
I like Russell Crowe. I think he should run this island of misfit teens that kill dogs for the homeless.
The Teen
I
Dog
think
Island.
if we want somebody to whip him in shape, that'd be a good man to do it.
Just like
actually.
Scooby Doo.
Get him an F-150 and a whip or something like a
Well,
or a horse,
maybe we
whatever.
get him like one of those unicycles, the one wheel things that people have to like
motorized
you know,
though
Yeah, the motorized ones you can ride
Oh,
around.
Oh,
yeah.
what will? Yeah. What
Yeah, get him
will,
one of
yeah.
those.
in a cape.
That'll
Dude, I
help them
tried
do
to
a little
ride
more
one of those.
cardio.
Yeah.
I tried to ride one of those.
Did you try to ride one of those? I would never try to ride one in my life.
Dude, I got
Just
on
like
it.
a
and I was
hoverboard?
like,
I will never.
Nope.
I will never ride on a hoverboard in my life.
Oh yeah, that's the future though.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's as much the future as people are making it out to be. Like, just like what was the thing that the guy who invented it fell off a mountain with it and killed him?
Oh, that is.
Segway.
Segway, yeah. Segway was the future of walking.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you've ever been to a science museum in Oklahoma, they still do Segway rides.
Yeah, they do Segway tours
Really?
around our city.
Oh,
here,
but it's
yeah.
so funny because it's the biggest. Like, there's a lot of installations, right? There's NASA's there. There's a dinosaur behind me, and I'm sitting on this bench, and a lot of this real estate is by children getting like pulled around on a Segway that they clearly know how to ride better than the person pulling them around.
Sure.
The children are like, I rode a hoverboard to the waiting area, you know, and they stand there and somebody's like, okay, can you lean forward? And they're like, are you freaking kidding? I can break dance on this. I can do anything on this.
We
It's
see them
hilarious.
all the time. It's because they tour our downtown in the area that we
Yeah.
live in.
The
on
new
Segways.
thing are the scooters now, though, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
Electric scooter.
The-
Oh yeah,
the
the
electric
little,
scooters?
like lime
Yeah.
scooters or whatever.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, the ones
I've
that
ridden
just
one of
get littered
those,
throughout
man.
the
They're
world.
pretty fun.
They are
Nothing better than
fun.
getting drunk and
Yeah.
riding a an unlicensed scooter through a downtown area
Yeah.
in the night.
And I don't know
Nice.
any gang signs, but if I was on a lime scooter, I would try every freaking sign I knew. I would be, I'd be like, is this what we do now? Because I'm liming. I would just be riding. I tried to ride one
I'm
though.
going 35 miles an hour.
It charged me
bitch.
so much money, and I
Yeah, it
didn't
really
even-
does.
It like I went around a tree and then let somebody else ride it, and then I got a text message that I got a bill from Lime. I was like, well, this is all too much for me to handle right now.
Fucking scam.
Yeah,
When I did
think
it-
I'm drunk. It's like,
When I did it, I think I rode around Charlotte, and then like I got the text about how much it was, and I was like, "Fuck this shit," and I got off of it. But I was like, I don't know, I was like 12 blocks from where I was staying,
You're like,
so I had to
"No."
like walk back.
like a punishment you paid for. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yes, I hate that.
Mistake you're gonna keep paying for. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do those.
Why didn't you just ride it
constantly.
downhill the rest of the way back, and they wouldn't even
No,
charge you?
it's time. It ain't like
Oh, it's time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much they
yeah,
charge
it's
you for an hour?
time. Like I don't know. It's got to be like $15.
That's not that bad.
If
right?
if not
I don't know.
more though.
I
That's why
think
they're
there's a
all over
minimum.
Charlotte on the ground because people get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Just
'cause I
drop
think
them
they
off.
do take like $5 off the top.
yeah. They're gonna
You
give
know
you
what
a
I'm saying?
minimum.
Just to ride it, and then it starts charging. It's like the old taxis used to be.
I wonder if we could like develop a group of people like-minded people where we go pick up all of the scooters and take them somewhere where they can't be tracked.
Throw them into a river.
Well, you know how like what is the range? I wonder on whatever satellite Lime has, where we could take them
Right.
to Montana, reconfigure them, turn it into some sort of death Lime race out in the desert.
I like it.
Um,
Mad Max-esque. In the
right.
deserts of Montana.
Right. For people who hate walking and also
the
hate
wooded
life or
deserts of
whatever.
Montana.
Just be nice to see that because I see it with Alan. I see them things where people throw them into fences, over fences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand getting frustrated that you now have to walk rather than stand. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, you shouldn't have probably thrown it through the fence. Like,
Right.
seems
No.
excessive.
But then they're also like, how will they know?
That's a good
How will they
point.
know that I did
Yeah.
it?
Right.
That's a good
Well,
point.
you're the last person that wrote it.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean anything.
They're probably
But-
trying to impress a
And
girl.
then see, and there was an easy drop
Look
joke right
look
there.
what I
and
can do.
Like, watch, I threw this scooter. Don't
And
you?
a girl's like,
Let's
oh my
bang.
God, he's so strong. It probably worked too.
Watch.
Damn it.
Let's do a Britney Spears dance together.
I bet it works every time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
feats
Oh,
of
every
strength.
time.
Yeah. When it's
Feats of
pickups.
strength. Hey, ladies love feats of strength. That's,
They do. And we're not doing them as men. We can't even open pickle jars anymore. We're bitches. My wife gave me a pickle jar the other day, and I tried to open it, and I did the whole trick without her knowing, where you hit it with the back of like a knife or something, and top the. Couldn't get it, dude. Too much air pressure. Must have come from Colorado or something. It was out of whack.
Great Northern
Yeah.
pickle
It is
jar.
like there was a part of me
Colorado
that was like,
pickles.
I think I'm giving
So
up.
they make
I think,
glasses then.
you know,
Stab
this
it
is
with
it.
a knife.
You know, this is it, babe. I can't do this. This is something I can't like.
You should have
This is
slammed it on the
This is the
floor
end.
and be like,
I mean,
If you need to leave me, you can leave me now.
Yeah,
It's fucking open.
if you were stuck in this pickle jar, I couldn't save you.
Be the
I'm giving this everything I can.
end. Like I always knew something would eventually end our marriage. I just
Yeah.
didn't think it was going to
Yeah,
be some
I know.
blastings.
And now I like walk around and like open stuff that's I think might be difficult just to prove I still can.
Yeah,
Like I
watch
got
this.
the toothpaste easy too tonight.
You,
so-
you have to pre-open it and then close it back, and then like,
Yeah.
hold on, dear, I got
Slightly.
that.
Yeah, I nonchalantly like
Yeah.
open ketchup now in front of her and stuff. It's like it's easy. This one's easy for me.
Oh,
So
that's
whatever.
that's kind
I'm
of the
not
curse
strong.
for me is those little pull tabs on ketchup. I can't
Oh,
do
yeah.
those.
Well, they're
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it depends how you use it as a
Both.
condiment. You know what I mean? If you're dipping, they're not. It's just too much work to make a dip like out of them.
Right.
If you're pouring it onto like a bite, it's okay. You know what I mean? The pull tab.
Yeah.
Not that
It's a hard
anybody
life.
cares. I mean,
It's a hard life. No one knows
Hard
what to do
life.
anymore.
I got a lot of
just
thoughts
drank
on
a
ketchup.
mystery. I just drank a mystery liquid, and I really don't know what it is.
Uh,
what could it be?
Well, it was supposed to be water,
Oh, but protein. in it?
and it might be sweet tea. I
It
really
shouldn't
don't
be a
know.
might.
How long has that sweet tea been there?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea where. I thought this was water from 2 days ago.
Get
Could be
a
anything.
good jug of tea mold.
What do you have around your house? What is the in? Do you drink
Children.
a lot, or what do you? I know you have children. Could you? Somebody
That's what
have
does this.
spiked it? Probably. Yeah.
It could be anything in there.
Yeah.
It literally could be anything. It could be.
Saving it for the
It
aliens.
could be different types of urine. I don't know.
That's true.
yeah, it's just pee.
They're just like, look, we all peed in this thing. Put it
We're
in my
all
dad's
peeing
desk.
tea for you, Dad.
That's true. I've done that
Joke's
before.
on you.
Got you, Dad. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Trick
Also,
you.
we broke everything you've ever loved.
You pee on stuff for a long time. I mean, once you hit about 12 or 11, you start peeing on things to see if you can get away with it as a boy, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
And it goes to about college, and then you find out if you're one of the fortunate people that can drink and then not remember it. You know, one of those fortunate souls. And you can
Doesn't matter
experience
where you
2 or 3 different worlds of
Right.
college.
Every night.
One where you peed in somebody's closet, and one where you had a good time. And both of them are you. You don't remember. and that's his life, you know.
Friend of mine,
That's why you need Rusty Diamonds.
The first time he slept at his wife's house, well, which was his girlfriend then. First time, like, you know,
Sure.
doing it, whatever. Like, he was so fucking drunk, he pissed in her closet on her shoes.
Yeah,
Like,
I've been there.
And she married him anyway.
Yeah, and that's love.
I was like, dude, that's love.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. I mean, none of it I'm proud of, but I'm willing to admit, and usually documented very. I mean, as it happened. You know, the next day I'd try to put that on tape that this happened. And
okay, guess what?
You know,
Guess what may have happened?
the worst is when you would. The worst when it would be like you would try to cook a frozen pizza or something and then go to sleep in college. You know what I mean? Like, not wait the 15 minutes and then wake up in the morning and there's a freaking burnt freaking Totino's in there.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, who the fuck burnt my Totino's? And they're like, you did. It's like, what? Like, I didn't have any left. They're like, you went to the store. I was like, holy shit.
Like, you don't remember? You drove.
You drove to the store?
The whole way back.
I was like, but the store was closed at Sunday. It's like, yeah, you drove to Topeka, you know?
And you broke into that 7-Eleven.
Like, why didn't you guys stop me? Like, we tried and then we went with you and
your clothes had blood on them. I don't know where
you said you'd buy the pizza. Like, all right.
And then you burnt them all and threw them at us.
Yeah.
It was great. Good times.
Those are good times, you know.
Those are the best times.
It happens.
It does.
Be careful
Too
out there,
often.
kids. And so be careful what you're drinking. That's how we got there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we're going to call it a night, guys, because
thanks for having me on.
No, thank you
Yeah,
for coming
man.
on,
Thank you for coming, man.
And next
Great
week,
times
Fred's not going to
always.
be here. So
Right.
get ready for our best show ever.
That's nice. Well, enjoy
me
your
and
new
Alan
heart,
sitting.
Alan. It was good to see all of you.
Yeah, man, we'll have to get you on again sometime soon. And
Yeah.
like I said, we did enjoy it. All the people who are watching this, you know, from Conrad's side, we love you. Unless
Yeah.
you're
Thanks for
on
Yeah, subscribe to
whatever
the
fucking
Black
bullshit.
Lincoln Collective
thing I hate.
podcast on all of their stuff. You know,
Right.
you guys could do something as far as helping out. You know, guys that are watching and ladies, if you're still there.
We don't want any ladies to subscribe. Thank you.
They were gone 30 minutes in.
Ladies, if you found this, ladies, congratulations, you've done it. So,
You solved the mystery. Now we're going to tell you what the guys really think, which is
yeah. Thank you, for having me on. And anytime, we're here.
yeah,
so.
we'll get up again soon for sure.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys, everybody. Have a great night. Like I said, Fred will be here next week. The show will be here. Fred will not be here. He's going to Disney World. I'm sure. Last year he
killed
did
that
this.
mouse and cut him up and
I wouldn't
serve
threaten
the
that.
homeless people.
We're sponsored by Disney. We're sponsored by Marvel, which is sponsored by Disney. No,
We're sponsored
remember
by
last year, Fred, you went and you lost your children.
Yeah, I did lose my kid. My wife bought air tags.
Yeah.
My wife
Oh,
bought
did you
air
really?
tags.
Oh,
yeah,
man, look at
she's
that.
like, I'm gonna put them in their clothes so if they do get
Smarter
shaken,
than us.
they won't. I was
That
like,
is smart.
They didn't get taken, by the way.
No.
Just for the record, they did not
No,
get
they
taken.
just fucking.
They
They
just
got
got fucked
tired
off.
of it.
They hate
No,
dogs
it's all
too.
wrong.
They're great on the island.
Yeah, they're like,
They
we
just
want to
walk
go
off
hang
on
out
it.
with dogs on the island, Dad. It's a dream come true for us.
Take with the pleasure island like Pinocchio.
Oh, creepy. That shit was creepy when I was a kid.
Yeah. Watch it again. It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for everything. Have a great night.
Do I have to
and
press any
we'll
buttons?
All right.
press buttons. Yeah.
Did I
I
have to
don't
press
even know.
buttons?
I don't know what to do.
I
I
mean,
think Alan has to do it.
I like the part that we're going to keep stepping on each other's outros.
No.
I'm gonna do it. I'm just kidding.
Let's get out of here.
I don't know if I'm supposed to hang up on you guys or what.
Yeah. Say I love you more. No, I love you more.
No, comrade, you hang up first. You hang up first.
Yeah, you hang
You hang up first.
I don't